everybody. I'm Lindsey Nelson. This is the Mets pregame show. In just 10 minutes, it'll be the New York Mets and the Montreal Expos and the first doubleheader of the year coming to you from here at Shea Stadium in New York. The pregame show is brought to you by Manufacturers Hanover. At Manufacturers Hanover, it's banking the way you want it to be. We here in the dugout at Shea Stadium, the Mets dugout, with the hero of yesterday's victory, Eddie Kranepool. Kranepool, as you possibly are aware, came up in the bottom of the ninth inning with 2 men out and a runner on. The Mets trailing by 1 run and hit the ball over the right field fence to give the Mets a come-from-behind victory. I know how it looked from upstairs, Ed. How did it look from where you stood?
When I hit it, Lindsey, it felt real good. I knew I hit the ball in a good part of the bat, and I was actually trying to get a base hit. So I was kind of blowing it over the fence. When I saw the outfielder moving back to the fence, I was kind of wishful thinking, and when it went over, I was really happy.
Well, you know, when it left the plate, we get a pretty good look upstairs, and when it left the plate, I wasn't all that sure it was going to get over, and I didn't think Ellis Valentine was all that sure.
I don't think anybody was, including myself. With the wind blowing the left field like it was yesterday, I thought hit a ball out of right field, you really had to hit it, and I was surprised the ball carried as well as it did. I thought the wind might catch it and make it another warning track like I've done so often in 16 years.
Yeah, 16 years. Now, you've been around the New York Mets and professional baseball that long, and people were asking around town last night. When you got to home plate, of course, you were practically swamped by the New York Mets. They were there as though it were the 7th game of the World Series. Does a professional athlete, after all those years, still get a real big charge out of something like that?
There's no question about it. I don't think you ever give up on something like that. That's the little kid in you, and that's why you're playing the game, and I've played it for 16 years. I still love it. It's something I've always wanted to do, and I think when that desire and that kind of attitude, you lose, I think then it's your time to retire, and I'm not ready to do so yet.
Well, you're a fellow, of course, whose son, Keith, is around the ballpark an awful lot. Do you ever see any young Eddie Kranepool in the mannerisms and the things that Keith does?
Well, the only way I could see that, he likes to hit, and I know one thing. He's out in the field right now. He's shagging, and he works out with the players, and he knows all the guys. This year, it's been strange for him. He had to go through a whole new ball club. He used to know all the old-time players that we had, so he's learned new faces, and he's familiar, and he likes baseball, and I think on any young boy, as long as they enjoy to play, they're willing to practice, they're going to get better.
How old is he now?
Well, he's 9 now, but he's been with us since he was born, so he's had 9 family days, and he's looking forward to having number 7 play here at Shea.
You know, you're a professional baseball player. You have been since you came out of high school. What about the family life of the Kranepools? Do you have to build your social life and your family life into the schedule of baseball?
Well, I think baseball interferes a lot of times with your scheduling during the summer months because you start working in February, the end of February, and you go right into October. So there's a lot less time for you to do a lot of extra things during the summer. You're busy playing baseball. Your schedule's around the baseball. You do a lot of traveling, just like yourself. You do it 12 months a year. We do it for 7. So I think the life, from the public's point, is very glorified. But I think from the player's standpoint, it's regimented based on your baseball schedule. Because, for instance, today with a doubleheader, we're at the ballpark 9:30 every day, and it's tough for you. You can't do a lot of things the night before. You try to stay home and relax a little bit.
Well, now you are in the process of moving. You're going to move. You have moved. You're somewhere in there. You're going to change residences. Tell me what the status of that is.
Well, that's up in the air. Actually, I've got 2 residences right now. I have a new house in Brookville. I've got one in Farmingdale, and I'm looking forward to moving, and I'm on the golf course. It'll be a lot more relaxing, but I don't worry too much about those days. It's going to happen, and it's just a matter of time.
Well, that's absolutely true. Ed Kranepool, you came to the New York Mets in 1962. Much has been written about your career, how you came to be a New York Met, but it's a story that new fans like to hear. Tell us about the circumstances under which you signed with the New York Mets.
Well, I think I was fortunate. Back in the early years, 1962, with an expansion team looking for young players, I was fortunate enough to sign when I was 17, and I did out of high school right in June of 1962 after watching opening day. So I've seen all 17 of them in the medical.
Did you really lay out of school to see that opening day?
Well, you can say I played hooky. I had some tickets for the ball game, and I attended the game. It was snowed out against the Pittsburgh Pirates after about 7 innings, but I enjoyed it, and that was one of the reasons why I wanted to stay in New York. New York was my home. The Mets were a young team, inexperienced. They needed players. I signed, and I can't regret it.
Now, you came up about, as I recall it, something like the last week of the 1962 season, having been in the Mets organization. At the welcome home dinner the other night, Ralph Kiner said that you trickled the ball outside third base down the line for a double for what might have been the last base hit at the Polo Grounds, except we came back and played there the next year. I saw you grimace a little when he said you trickled the ball down the line.
Yeah, I don't think you can hit it that weakly past the third base. It actually hit the ball real good, but I actually joined the ball club in 1962. My first trip ever as a youngster was to California. At the end of June, the early part of July, I joined the ball club in California. And, you know, the first night in the big leagues when I joined the ball club, Casey was telling me what was going on, how to to play certain situations. I was in the dugout, and opening day in the big league, Sandy Koufax pitched a no-hitter against us, and that was my first welcome to the big leagues, and I knew I was in for a long, tough career.
I remember the night very well. I remember you being on the trip, too. That's quite true. As a matter of fact, he threw 9 strikes in the first inning, did not fail to get the ball over one time, threw 9 strikes, and walked off the mound. That's impressive.
It was impressive, and I was kind of scared. I was looking forward to going to the minors.
Eddie Cranepool, congratulations, and thanks very much.
Thank you very much, Lindsay.
And for appearing on our pregame show, we'd like to present Eddie Cranepool with an invitation from Rusty Staub to enjoy dinner for 2 at Rusty's Restaurant on the corner of 73rd Street and 3rd Avenue. A restaurant featuring fine food and service and the home of Rusty's barbecued Canadian baby back ribs. This has been the Mets pregame show.
Stadium in New York, it's the New York Mets meeting the Montreal Expos in a doubleheader. Today's first game is brought to you by Anheuser-Busch, brewers of Budweiser, the king of beers. There's no better way to relax than with the easy taste of Budweiser. Getty Premium and Getty Unleaded Regular, the higher octane gasoline with a lower price. By Datsun. Nobody demands more from a Datsun than Datsun. We are driven. And by Dairy Lee. Brought to you by the good folks of Dairy Lee, famous over 50 years for fresh dairy products. All our sponsors are pleased to bring you Mets baseball on WMCA 57 on your dial. Well, hi, everybody. Bob Murphy with Ralph Kiner and Lindsey Nelson. The skies are a brilliant blue and clear. The temperature about 50 degrees as the Mets and the Expos get set for a bargain bill, a doubleheader on this, the first weekend of the baseball season. The starting pitchers in the first ball game for Montreal, it will be a tall, lanky right-hander, Wayne Twitchell. And for the New York Mets, their tall, thin man, Paul Zachry. We'll have the starting lineups for you in a moment, right after this message.
Making sure you come out with the highest possible interest on your savings is another ball game entirely. If you want to be a sure winner, bring your savings to County Federal. It's a fact. You can bounce your bankroll from one bank to another, from the Bowery to the Dime to Lincoln to Dry Dock, Greenwich, Dollar, yet nobody pays higher interest than County Federal. County Federal Savings and Loan pays the highest interest permitted by law, whether you keep your money in a day-to-day savings account or a long-term or short-term savings certificate. County Federal compounds interest daily to give you the highest return you can earn in a federally insured account. And interest is paid every month, not quarterly, so you can use it for living expenses or leave it in your account to earn more interest. Free money orders for depositors and free traveler's checks at County Federal in Rockville Center, Valley Stream, Levittown, Wantagh, Coram, Comac, Medford, Kew Garden Hills, Astoria, Brooklyn, and Manhattan.
In the first game of today's doubleheader, Joe Torre's New York Mets will be trying to make it 3 in a row after winning with a 2-out home run in the last of the 9th inning yesterday by Eddie Cranepool. Today's broadcast comes to you through the courtesy of the New York Mets and radio station WMCA, and is authorized under radio rights granted by the New York Mets solely for the entertainment of our listening audience. Any publication, reproduction, or other use of the descriptions and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the New York Mets is prohibited. Bob Ingles' umpiring team moving to home plate now to exchange the batting order slips and discuss the ground rules. For the lineups and batting orders of the opening ball game, let's touch bases with Ralph Kiner.
All right, Bob Murphy, for the Mets, Lenny Randle will lead off. He'll be at third base. Batting second, the shortstop, Tim Foli. Batting third, playing left field, Bruce Boisclair. Batting in the cleanup position, first baseman, Willie Montanez. Batting fifth and playing right field, Ken Henderson. Sixth batter will be center fielder Lee Mazzilli. Batting seventh, the catcher, Ron Hodges. Eighth batter will be Doug Flynn at second base, and Pat Zachry, the pitcher, batting ninth. For the Expos, the leadoff batter will be the right fielder, Ellis Valentine. Batting second, second baseman Dave Cash. Batting third, center fielder Andre Dawson. In the cleanup position, the catcher, Gary Carter. Batting fifth, first baseman Tony Perez. The sixth batter will be the left fielder, Dale Unser. Batting seventh, third baseman Wayne Garrett. The eighth batter will be the shortstop, Chris Speier. And Wayne Twitchell will be batting in the ninth position. Twitchell, a right-hander, going for the Montreal Expos, and Pat Zachry, a right-hander, going for the New York Mets. In the second game, Mike Brewer is scheduled to make his Major League debut. He'll be opposed by Ross Grimsley. So a lot of baseball action coming your way if you're around the area. And you haven't made your ticket plans, there's plenty of parking and good seats available here. On a special day at Shea Stadium, it's Utility Bag Day, and anyone who buys a ticket and attends the ball game receives a handsome utility bag courtesy of the New York Mets. After Montreal leaves town, the Chicago Cubs come in for a three-game series, playing on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday afternoons. Game time for all three of those ball games, 2:05, and all three have been placed to Senior Citizen Days here at Shea Stadium, and all you senior citizens 60 years of age and over will be admitted to the ballpark on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday for a 50-cent service charge. Monday, it's going to be Craig Swan pitching for the Mets against Dennis Lamp. Then Jerry Kuzman on Tuesday afternoon against Rick Rushell. And Wednesday afternoon, Nino Espinosa against Ray Burris. In case you missed the scores of yesterday's ball games, the Mets beat Montreal 6-5 on a two-out home run in the ninth inning by Ed Kranepool. Pittsburgh outlasted Chicago 4-3. Pittsburgh winning when Pete Suter, the ace relief pitcher for the Cubs, walked in the winning run. That ball game going 10 innings. The Dodgers beat Atlanta again, winning 6-2 yesterday. Cincinnati defeated Houston 2-1. San Francisco beat San Diego 6-0. And Philadelphia shut out St. Louis 7-0. In the National League, the Mets on top with the Pittsburgh Pirates. Both have won 2 and lost none. The Cardinals are 1-1. Philadelphia 1-1, and the Cubs are 0-2 along with Montreal at 0-2. In the Western Division, Cincinnati on top. They have won 3 and lost none. The Dodgers have won 2 and lost none. San Diego 1-1. San Francisco 1-1. Atlanta 0-2. And Houston 0-3. And now the New York Mets have taken the field. Mets winning the first game of the season 3-1 behind Jerry Kuzman's complete game, and winning yesterday as Marty Caneo in relief won his first Major League game as the Mets won it in extra thrilling contest by a score of 6-5. And now from Shea Stadium, the national anthems of Canada and the United States sung by Julius LaRosa.
Okay.
True
La Rosa singing the national anthems of Canada and the United States, and we're all set for the first doubleheader of the 1978 season. In the American League, the scores of yesterday's ball games: Texas beat the Yankees 2-1. John Matlack, the winning pitcher in that ball game, and Texas won it on a home run by Richie Zisk. Cleveland defeated Kansas City 8-5. The White Sox defeated Boston 6-5. Toronto over Detroit 5-2. Milwaukee 16, Baltimore 3. Minnesota 8, Seattle 2, and Oakland defeated California 4-2. Milwaukee on top in the Eastern Division. They've won 2 and lost none. Cleveland has won 1 and lost none. Toronto 1-1. Detroit 1-1. Yankees 0-1. Boston and Baltimore 0-2. In the Western Division, the White Sox are on top. They won 2 and lost none. Texas 1-0. California 1-1. Seattle has won 2 and lost 2. Minnesota the same, 2-2. And Oakland has won 1 and lost 1. We have a bright, sunshiny day, but it's cool here at Shea Stadium. Field condition is in good shape, and we have a light breeze blowing in from right field. Pat Zachry completing his warm-up pitches, making his first appearance here for the 1978 season. And Pat will be followed to the mound by Mike Brewer, who will be working the second ball game. Mike will be making his major league debut. Now the leadoff batter coming up to the batter's box, and coming in now for the play-by-play, Bob Murphy.
Thank you very much, Ralph Kiner, and hi, everybody. The Mets going for their third in a row at the opening game of today's doubleheader. Winning thrillers the first 2 days of the season. Winning opening day 3-1 behind Jerry Koosman, and winning dramatically in the last of the ninth inning on a 2-out pinch home run by Ed Kranepool yesterday. Talented right fielder Ellis Valentine of Montreal leading off against Pat Zachry. First pitch of the game, over, strike one call. Ellis Valentine hit .293 with Montreal last year, including 25 home runs. Now the pitch on the way, inside and low, 1 ball, 1 strike. In the first game today in the infield for New York, Willie Montanez playing first, Doug Flynn at second, Tim Foli is short, and Lenny Randle is playing third. Bruce Boisclair in left field, Lee Mazzilli in center, Ken Henderson around at right. Slider outside, 2-1. Ronnie Hodges will catch the opening ball game. For Montreal, Wayne Twitchell, a right-hander in the first game, and Ross Grimsley, a left-hander in the second. And a soft fly ball into short right field, dropping a base hit. Valentine getting his third hit of the new season, and that was a fortunate base hit for Valentine. He blooped that one just beyond the reach of Doug Flynn into right field. Ronnie Hodges bats left-handed. John Stearns hits right-handed. So Hodges will work the first game against the right-hander, and Stearns in the second ball game against the left-hander. Steve Henderson has a very bad cold. That's why he's not starting. Probably will play the second ball game. Dave Cash is the batter. Valentine with the lead off first. Here's the pitch on the way. Hit foul in behind third base coach Norm Sherry. On the lines at first base, Billy Gardner. Pat Zachry has a lifetime record against Montreal of 2 wins and no losses. He won both decisions over Montreal last year while still pitching for Cincinnati. Zachry working from the stretch. And the pitch to Dave Cash. Foul ball, no play. Cash off to a very fast start, has 5 hits in his first 9 times at bat. Last year, his first in Montreal, Dave Cash hit .289. Had 188 base hits. He is a very difficult man to double up, even though he is a right-hand hitter. And a foul ball wafted back into the crowd, no play. A doubleheader today, then a day game with the Chicago Cubs tomorrow. Cubs have lost 2 very hard games to the Pittsburgh Pirates. Russell lost to Candelaria 1-0 opening day. And yesterday, the Cubs lost 4-3 in 10 innings. Bruce Sutter walked 4 in losing the game of the 10th inning yesterday. Highly unusual for him. 2-strike delivery, ground ball hit hard to short. Foley has it to Flynn, 1 on to first, double play. backhanded by Tim Foli with a nifty play, and then fired to Flynn and on to Montanez at a double play. This young infield is going to turn a lot of double plays this summer. Combination of Doug Flynn and Tim Foli is a good one. Montanez is slick around first base, and Lenny Randle is quick around third base. 2 outs and nobody on. We're in the first inning of the doubleheader. Now center fielder Andre Dawson facing Pat Zachry. And a fastball outside, 1 ball and no strikes. Andre Dawson out of Miami, Florida, the Rookie of the Year last season, batting .282. He hit 19 homers, 65 runs batted in. Swing and a miss on a curveball, 1 ball, 1 strike. Winning pitcher in yesterday's ball game for New York was rookie Marty Cornejo, getting a victory his first time out of the major leagues. He had 2 scoreless innings in relief. Now inside to Dawson, 2 balls and a strike. Here's the windup and the pitch on the way. Foul ball. Back upstairs into the mezzanine section behind home plate. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes. The 2-2 delivery by Zachry is swung on and missed, strike 3. Beautiful changeup by Zachry to strike out Andre Dawson. Zachry has an excellent changeup. No runs, 1 hit, none left. In the middle of inning 1, Montreal nothing, and the New York Mets are coming to bat.
If you buy unleaded gasoline, you may have noticed that lead isn't the only thing missing. It's probably pretty low on performance, too. That's because most unleadeds just don't have a high enough octane rating to give you the performance you want, the performance you used to get from your regular. In fact, according to standards set by the American Society for Testing and Materials, the people who set gasoline standards used by the federal and state governments, very few unleaded gasolines have a high enough octane to be called regular. To help you choose between them, one usually sells for less. Getty Unleaded Regular gives you the clean running engine you expect from an unleaded, plus the octane performance you want. And you pay less than you would for most other major unleadeds. Now think a minute. Why settle for an unleaded gasoline that's below regular when you can get one that's regular? Getty Unleaded Regular. Once again, we've got what's best for your car.
6'6" Wayne Twitchell, the pitcher for Montreal today. Now 30 years old and now in his 7th year in the major leagues. Pitched very well with the Expos after being acquired in a trade with Philadelphia. He was off to an 0-5 start with the Phillies. Then was traded to Montreal in a deal that sent Barry Foote down to the Phillies. And with the Expos, Twitchell won 6 and lost 5. Prior to a knee operation in '73, he looked like one of the outstanding young pitchers in baseball. He consistently will give up far fewer hits than innings pitched, which tells you that he does have good stuff. Wayne Twitchell, with a lifetime record against New York of 7 wins and 3 losses. Lenny Randle will lead off for New York. Lenny looking for his first hit of the new season. Lenny hitless in the first 2 ball games, going 0 for 6. Crowd still coming in here at Shea. It's a beautiful day, a little cool, but it is a beautiful day. And we hope you're planning to join us. It'll be Len Randle, Tim Foli, and Bruce Boisclair at the opening inning, hitting against the tall, sidewinding right-hander. And the pitch on the way, fastball outside, 1 ball and no strikes. Twitchell working 3/4 arm against the left-hand hitter. Wayne Garrett shortens up at third. The 1-0 delivery missed the inside corner, ball 2. Chris Speier is at shortstop. Dave Cash is second. Tony Perez playing first. An outfield of Del Unser, Andre Dawson, Ellis Valentine. Swing and a miss, 2 balls and a strike. Gary Carter is the catcher. And on the mound, Wayne Twitchell. The second game today, veteran left-hander Ross Grimsley. for Montreal against rookie right-hander Mike Brewer. The 2-1 delivery, swing and a foul back on the screen. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Nobody on, nobody out. Last of inning number 1. Breaking ball high, ball 3, 3-2. Lenny Randle batted over 300 with the New York Mets last year. And he set a club record in stolen bases when he pilfered 33. Pitching 3-2. Ball 4. Randle opens with a walk. Randle has 1 stolen base in the first 2 ball games. Now here's Tim Foli. Tim with 1 for 9 and a run batted in. Right-hand hitter Tim Foli. Garrett playing even with the bag, wide of the line at third. And a throw to first that is not in time. The way Garrett is playing against Tim Foli, he really does not look for a sacrifice. Figuring the Mets will try to go for a big inning in the beginning. Breaking ball inside, it's ball 1. When you're watching Randle when he's on first base, every time the pitcher delivers, you think that he's trying to steal. He gives that big bluff. He'll go out, slam on the brakes, and come back. The infield straight away. The 1-0 delivery, high and inside, ball 2. And again, Randle bluffed it. So Twitchell walked Randle on 3-2, has gone behind on Tim Foli, 2 balls and no strikes. The tall right-hander, Wayne Twitchell, in the set position. There goes Randle. The pitch inside. The throw, they may get him. And he's out at second. Randle is out. It was a high throw by Gary Carter. But Dave Cash had time to reach up, take it out of the air, and come down and make the tag. Foley pulled away from the pitch to give Randle a chance to steal the base. Pitch was inside, and the count is 3-0. Gary Carter has a strong arm. He's not easy to steal on. So Twitchell behind on Foley, 3-0. Now we have 1 out and nobody on. The pitch. Low, ball 4, and Foley draws a walk. Montreal ace Steve Rogers is doing some tune-up work in the bullpen. He will pitch again on Tuesday night against the Phillies in Philadelphia. Phillies got strong pitching from Larry Christensen, a 19-game winner last year, in defeating St. Louis to even that series yesterday. Now Bruce Boisclair. Bruce is 0 for 1. Here's the pitch on the way, and a well-hit fly ball to deep right field way back. There it goes, a home run. Bruce Boisclair has put New York ahead, 2-0. What a shot that was. That ball was hit well over 400 feet. It not only cleared the fence at the 358 mark, but it went all the way to the back of the bullpen, 428 feet from home plate, and smacked very high against the back wall of the bullpen. Boisclair ripping a tremendous home run. Those are the kind they talk about as tape measure jobs. And the Mets are in front, 2-0. Mets had 3 home runs in winning yesterday's ball game. Steve Henderson, Lee Mazzilli, and Ed Kranepool all homered. The pitch to Willie Montanez is swung on and missed, strike 1. Boisclair is a vastly improved hitter. He's getting stronger each year. Now in his 3rd year with the New York Mets, Willie Montanez takes a curve inside low, 1 ball and 1 strike. 2-0 New York on a 2-run homer by Bruce Boisclair. Left-hand hitter belting a tremendous shot to the back of the bullpen in right field. Curve inside, 2-1 to Montanez. Now Twitchell getting his sign from Gary Carter. The 2-1 delivery, swing and a miss, 2-2. Two runs on one hit, a walk, and then a home run. Left-hand hitter Montanez waiting, and a swing and a foul into the dirt near home plate. Big John McSherry from the Bronx is the umpire behind the home plate today. Spent the past offseason out in San Diego, California. He's a marvelous technician of baseball rules. Helps the other umpires each spring. But the only change in the baseball rules this year is the change in the beanball rule. Last year, if in the umpire's opinion a pitcher threw at a hitter and it came up a second time, the manager was automatically ejected. This year, the first time in a ball game that an umpire feels the pitcher has thrown at a hitter, he will issue a warning, and that warning stands for the remainder of the game. If the pitcher does it again, he's ejected. They do not eject the manager. But by doing this, there's no retaliation. Here's the 2-2 delivery, curve in the dirt, ball 3. Or in other words, if Twitchell right here were to throw at Montanez in the umpire's opinion, the Mets pitcher could not come back and throw at a Montreal hitter without being ejected from the ballgame. By taking out the retaliation, it should help a lot. 3-2 delivery. Line shot foul down the right field line into the stands. Well hit drive, but pull foul down the right field line by Willie Montanez. Funny in baseball, they'll refer to Montanez as a hot dog because of his flashy fielding. 3-2 delivery, outside, ball 4. And yet somebody like Mark Bedrich, who has become so popular, will go through all of his things that he likes to do in the course of a ball game, and they call him colorful. Third walk by Wayne Twitchell. Montanez on first. The batter is Kenny Henderson. Ken batting at .333 on 2 for 6. 1 run batted in. Club leader in RBIs after the first 2 ball games is Lee Mazzilli. Now the stretch by Twitchell and the pitch on the way. Curve inside, ball 1. Lee Mazzilli is the on-deck hitter. We'll get some early warm-up action now in the Montreal bullpen. Wide with a fastball, 2 balls and no strikes. And a young right-hander, Hal Dews, D-U-E-S, will start to warm up. Time called by Dick Williams, and Jim Brewer, the pitching coach, will come out to the mound. Hal Dews came up from Quebec in the Montreal minor league system late last year and pitched well. He was in 6 ball games and a September look. Made the Expo pitching staff this spring and is now warming up in the bullpen. Jim Brewer, former Dodger star, now the pitching coach for Montreal, after talking with Wayne Twitchell, is going back to the dugout. Mets lead 2-0, first inning of the game. Montanez on first, and the count 2-0 to Ken Henderson. Ken batting left-handed against the right-hander. Now the pitch, wide, ball 3. On his own, Twitchell has not retired a batter. Randle drew a walk leading off. He was caught stealing, and that is the only out. Fastball missing, ball 4. The 4th walk by Twitchell. Now there are runners on first and second, and Lee Mazzilli comes up. first 2 games of the season, Mazzilli had 4 hits and 8 times at bat. 3 of the 4 extra base hits, including a 2-run homer yesterday. So Mazzilli, 3 RBIs in the first 2 ball games. Mazzilli batting left-handed. Like Ken Henderson, Mazzilli is a switch hitter. And the tall right-hander ready to go to work. The pitch by Twitchell, curve inside, ball 1. And now Mazzilli will be thinking fastball. The breeze is blowing from left field across toward right, favoring the left-handed hitters. Montreal defense playing around to right, figuring on Mazzilli to pull the ball. The 1-0 delivery under the knees, ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. Left-hand hitter Ronnie Hodges is the on-deck batter. So there's plenty of concern in the Montreal dugout right now. Manager Dick Williams standing with his arms folded, staring out on the field. Montanez on second and Kenny Henderson on first, 1 away. The 2-0 delivery, swing and a miss. He went for a high hardwood. That was a fastball up in Mazzilli's eyes, and he tried to get it. Twitchell has allowed 1 hit, a booming home run hit by Bruce Boisclair. Ball hit the back wall, 428 feet from home plate. They have that outside fence marked with the 428 sign. Now Twitchell checks the runners. The 2-1 delivery. Line drive hit hard. Valentine in front of it. And he makes the catch. He'll get a double play. He throws to second, and they double up Willie Montanez. And the side is retired. Montanez misjudged the liner. He thought it was a base hit. He was running. It stayed up just long enough for Valentine to make the catch. And Valentine then threw the ball to second base to double up Willie Montanez. 2 runs on 1 hit. And 1 man left. At the end of 1 inning, New York 2, Montreal nothing.
Who builds the only touring sedan with the engine of the world's most popular sports car? Nobody but Datsun. The Datsun 810, our biggest luxury sedan with the fuel-injected 240Z engine. Road and Track magazine says the acceleration of the 810 puts it in a class with cars costing thousands more. In fact, the 810 may be the world's most underpriced luxury performance car. Fully independent suspension, power front disc brakes, steel-belted radials, all standard. But most breathtaking of all, a fuel-injected power plant that redlines at 6,200 RPMs. The 810 is Datsun, driven to quality in action.
Nobody demands more from a Datsun. Datsun. We are driven.
Now, your Datsun dealer has the 810 you want. Sedan or wagon, automatic or 4-speed, and a wide variety of colors.
Montreal will have Gary Carter coming up against Zachry in the second. Right now, we'll pause for station identification. This is the New York Mets Baseball Network.
You know, when you're with old friends talking over the good old days, there's a perfect time to call on the king of beers. Budweiser tastes just as good now as it did then. WMCA New York.
Bob Murphy with Lindsey Nelson and Ralph Kiner. Mets 2, Montreal nothing. We go to the second. First game of our Sunday doubleheader. Not a cloud in the sky in the New York area today. Brilliant blue sky. Terrific visibility today. Gary Carter lays off, and the pitch is high, ball 1. Temperature probably about 52 or 53. Tony Perez, the on-deck batter. The next Met, Del Unser. Ground ball whacked foul down the left field line, no play. 1 ball and 1 strike on the talented Gary Carter. In the years to come, Gary Carter of Montreal will be one of the real big names in baseball. When they start balloting for the all-star catcher, I'm sure he'll get a lot of votes. Inside and low. He arrived last year. Wound up hitting 31 home runs. Same number hit by Johnny Bench. Two-one delivery by Pat Zachry, low outside, ball 3, 3-1. Mets playing the infield deep against Gary Carter, a big, powerful right-hand hitter. The outfield is deep. Mazzilli, a couple of strides to left center. 3-1 delivery. Strike called on the inside corner. Carter runs full speed to first when he draws a walk. He anticipated the call and took off for first, only to be brought back by John McSherry. Pat Zachry, the thin right-hander from Waco, Texas, delivers to the plate. A swing and a miss. He struck him out. He came back with a curveball on 3-2 and fanned Gary Carter. Zachry compiled a winning record with the Mets after coming over in the Tom Seaver trade. Joe Torre believes that Zachry can win 15 or 16 games for him. Fastball, a strike to Tony Perez. Last year, the veteran Tony Perez had 91 RBIs for Montreal. 1 out and nobody on. Foul ball back over the screen, no play. And so Zachry is out in front on Tony Perez. Del Unser, the left fielder, will be next. After today, 3-day games with the Cubs starting tomorrow afternoon. High and inside, 1 ball and 2 strikes. The Cubs are managed, of course, by Herman Franks. They were the surprise team in the National League last year. They were in first place over a half a year. Slider outside, 2-2. And this year they have, of course, ex-Met David Kingman. They traded away Jerry Morales to get catching strength in Dave Rader. 2-2 delivery, foul ball upstairs. Cubs have developed an outstanding pitcher in right-hander Rick Russell. Russell arrived last year, became a 20-game winner. Lost opening day to Candelaria, a 20-game winner, 1-0. Pitching 2-2. Ground ball hit down to third. Randle takes the knee-high hop. The long overhand throw is in the dirt. Cannot be handled by Montanez. So Tony Perez is safe at first on a low throw by Lenny Randle. Montanez tried to scoop it out of the dirt, got his glove on it, but couldn't get it in the mitt. Time called by Dick Williams. He is on his way to first base. No, he wants to talk to McSherry about the ground rule. I believe Williams feels that Perez should be awarded second base. The errant throw wound up hitting the field box railing and bouncing straight back toward first base. So Williams may be contending that a fan interfered with it. That'll be an error charge to Len Randle on the low throw. Del Unser is the hitter now, facing Pat Zachry. With the Expos last year, Del hit .273 as a backup outfielder. Fastball high, 1 ball and no strikes. The regular left fielder is Warren Cromartie. He has a hamstring muscle pull. And Dick Williams says he'll be back in the lineup Tuesday night in Philadelphia. The 1-0 delivery, high and away, ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes. 1 out and 1 on, 2-0 New York. We're playing in the second inning. Mets took the early lead on a 2-run homer by Bruce Boisclair. Randle in close at third. And the 2-0 pitch, wide, ball 3. Zachry on the edge of some trouble, getting behind on Del Unser, 3-0. Wayne Garrett will be the next hitter, and then Chris Speier. Zachry ready, delivers 3-0. Strike called on the outside corner, 3-1. Yesterday's starter, Nino Espinosa, had good stuff, but was bothered by a lack of control. Unusual for Nino. He walked 4 in pitching the first 5 innings of the game. 3-1 delivery, hit late. Foul ball back upstairs into the mezzanine section. Now the count is 3-2 on Del Unser. Tony Perez on first base and 1 man out. Del is no longer a speedster. The infield is a double play depth. Here's the pitch. The runner goes. Foul behind third. They sent Tony Perez to try and stay out of the double play on 3-2. Unser does not strike out often. He fouled the ball off behind third base. If you have a contact hitter at the plate, it's always good baseball to send the runner. That's playing the outfield deep against Del Unser and shaded around to right. Wind is now kind of turned around. The runner goes, and a ground ball base hit going into right field. Around second is Perez. He'll go on to third. Henderson plays the ball into second. And now Montreal has runners on first and third. Clean single to right by Del Unser. Now third baseman Wayne Garrett. Wayne hit .270 with Montreal last year and playing in 68 ball games. Injured his knee in early August, went out for the rest of the year. Zachry checks the runners. Ball one. Wayne Garrett, left-hand batter. He has a real good eye at the plate. And the pitch by Zachry inside and low. And now Pat goes behind on Garrett. 2 balls and no strikes. First batter in the inning, Gary Carter, was struck out. Then Tony Perez reached safely on a throwing error charged to Lenny Randle. And Del Unser singled to right field. The 2-0 delivery, strike call to the outside corner. 2 balls and 1 strike. Right-handed batting Chris Speier will be the next hitter. The 2-1 pitch, foul ball. Straight back into the screen. It's 2-2. The Mets will be in Montreal next week. The 14th of April, it's Montreal's home opener, with the Mets providing the opposition on a Friday afternoon. Pitching 2-2. Swing and a miss. Struck him out. He struck him out with a changeup. He struck out Dawson in the first inning with a change of pace. Ronnie Hodges walks the ball back toward the mound. That was a beautiful changeup by Pat Zachry. Chris Speier will be coming up. He's had a hot bat the first 2 games. Speier getting 5 hits at 8 times at bat. He had 4 hits yesterday. Let's have the infield just about straight away against right-hand batter Chris Speier, the Montreal shortstop. 2-0 New York. The Expos have runners at the corners, and there are 2 men away. Zachry around with the right arm, foul tip, strike 1. Wayne Twitchell will be the next hitter. Let's get into trouble or into bad luck in the top of the inning. The last of the first inning, when Lee Mazzilli hit a wicked line drive to Valentine at right that turned into a double play. Zachry makes the 1-second stop. Here's the pitch. Ground ball foul off to the left. Zachry with a 2-strike count on Chris Speier. Speier is also a contact hitter, not an easy man to strike out. Toughest man to strike out in the National League was Tim Foli. Tim struck out only 20 times all last year. The 2-strike delivery. Towering pop fly. Should retire the sag. Foley calling for it in very shallow left field, and he has it for the out. Zachry doing a good job bailing out of a jam. No runs, 1 hit, an error, and 2 are left. The end of an inning and a half. The Mets 2, the Expos nothing.
What's the big idea? The big idea is the Astoria idea. An idea designed to come through with many happy returns for you.
Astoria Federal has some big ideas for you, like 6-year savings certificates with an effective annual yield of 8.17%, the most the law allows. 4-year certificates yield 7.9%, 2.5 years 7.08%, and there are big ideas in 90-day and 1-year accounts. The law on time deposits requires a penalty on withdrawal before maturity, so Astoria has another big idea, ready cash savings for your everyday needs. Big ideas, that's Astoria Federal.
An idea designed to come through with many happy returns for you. The Astoria idea.
Please report to the press gate. Dr. Berger. Thank you.
At Pittsburgh this afternoon, the windup of a 3-game series. The Pirates defeated Chicago 1-0 opening day before yesterday. Then in 10 innings yesterday, the Pirates won 4-3 over the Cubs. Today it'll be Woody Fryman, the veteran left-hander who quit baseball early last season, going for Chicago, and Jerry Royce for the Pirates. Royce had an off season last year. He was 10-13. St. Louis playing in Philadelphia. Rubber game of a 3-game series. John Urea for the Cardinals. Randy Lurch will pitch for the Phillies. San Diego will play in San Francisco. They have split so far. Houston at Cincinnati, where the Reds have won all 3. And the Dodgers are in Atlanta. Dodgers have won the first 2. Now Ronnie Hodges leading off the home second. The fastball by Wayne Twitchell, a strike call. The Yankees play the Rangers in Texas. Toronto is in Detroit. 2 former National Leaguers making their American League debuts. Curve inside, a ball and a strike. For the Blue Jays, it will be Tom Underwood, formerly with the Phillies and Cardinals, against the veteran from Cincinnati, Jack Billingham. Tigers believe that Billingham will help them a great deal. Detroit was one of the surprise teams during spring training. They played very well. And, of course, they have Mark the Bird back. Ground ball hammered to first. Bad hop handled by Tony Perez. Now he goes to first in time for the out. Slick fielding by Perez because the ball took a bad hop. One out and nobody on. Doug Flynn coming up. Other action in the American League today, the Red Sox are in Chicago. In the first 2 games, the White Sox stormed from behind to win them both. That's the way the White Sox played last year. Every game was a cliffhanger, or a cliff dweller, as Wes Western would say. Breaking ball outside, 1 ball and no strikes. They had a lot of hitting and very little pitching. They just kept coming back and pounding out wins. They wound up finishing 3rd and winning 90 ball games. Fastball to Doug Flynn for a call strike, 1-1. Kansas City plays in Cleveland. Baltimore will be in Milwaukee. Minnesota at Seattle, and Oakland at California. Oakland got even. The 1-1 delivery, curve, a swing, and a miss. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Nolan Ryan started last night. Did not figure in the decision. He struck out 13 and he walked 4. He went only 6 innings. Slider off the outside corner. 2 balls and 2 strikes. One out and nobody on in the New York second. The pitch by Wayne Twitchell. Hit foul down the right field line. Goes over into the stands. No play. This is Utility Bag Day at Shea Stadium, and all the fans who are in attendance receive the blue and white utility bag with a large carrying strap. They'll enjoy it. Doug Flynn waiting. Ground ball hit toward the hole, base hit going into left field. Doug Flynn has singled to left. Ground ball beyond the reach of Wayne Garrett. It is the second hit for New York. The first was a tremendous two-run homer by Bruce Boisclair. Now the hitter is Pat Zachry, and let's see if Joe Torre has the sacrifice going. Wayne Garrett believes the sacrifice will be on. He comes in close at third. Here's the pitch. He takes for a strike. He was around to bunt. If Zachary can move Flynn over to second, it brings up Lenny Randle. Now the pitch on the way. Low, outside as he turned to bunt. 1 ball and 1 strike. Flynn building a lead off first base. Bunted foul. And now the count is 1 ball, 2 strikes to Pat Zachry. So now we will see if he will try and bunt the third strike, knowing that if he bunts the ball foul, he's a strikeout victim. Mets 2 and Montreal nothing. Mets batting in their half of the second. Wayne Twitchell up in pitching position. He squares the bunt way outside, 2-2. Rather cool, but a beautiful day in New York. The count is 2-2. He was set to swing away, and it was outside and low, ball 3. Twitchell was missing in the first inning, and he walked 4 men. He walked Randle, Foley, Montanez, and Ken Henderson. And the way he got out of the inning, Mazzilli hit a wicked line drive to Valentine into a double play. 3-2 delivery, foul tip, full swing by Pat Zachry. Mets won their second game of the season yesterday in the most dramatic fashion. How many times in a long baseball season do you win a game on a 2-out home run in the last of the 9th inning? Inside, ball 4. Zachry on with a walk. Well, Zachry was at the plate to sacrifice, and he winds up with a walk. And Hal Dews, D-U-E-S, is warming up again for Montreal. Lenny Randle will be the hitter. Randle received a walk in the first inning, but he was caught stealing. For Wayne Twitchell, it is a struggle at the moment. He does not have his control. For New York, Doug Flynn is on second and Pat Zachry on first, 1 away. When a pitcher struggles this way, it's awfully easy when you keep getting behind to work too hard to get a strike and throw one that is much too good to hit. Randle waiting. Fastball high, 1 ball and no strikes. Now Jim Brewer, the Montreal pitching coach, doffs his cap in the direction of the bullpen. That is his way of asking the bullpen coach if the relief pitcher is ready. Coach out there in turn will doff his cap if his man is ready. Swing and a foul tip. 1 ball, 1 strike. For New York, Tim Foli waiting on deck. Randle looking for his first hit of the new season. The 1-1 delivery, curved, wild pitch. The runners will move up, and Randle was hit on the foot. The bases are loaded. Randle was hit on the foot by the pitch. The ball hit Randle on the foot, then hit the dirt, and went all the way to the backstop. It hit Randle right on the big toe on the left foot. Trainer Tom McKenna coming out to check with him. Looks like this will be all for Wayne Twitchell. Now the bases are loaded with 1 away, and the batter will be Tim Foli. But Hal Dews, a rookie, comes in from the bullpen. So Twitchell very wild in the ball game today. And he will leave the game. Bob Murphy with Ralph Kiner and Lindsey Nelson. The New York Mets lead Montreal 2-0, and we're in the last of the second. Mets grabbed the lead in the first inning on a 428-foot home run by Bruce Boisclair with a man on. Right now, they are in a position to do some damage. The bases are loaded and one man away. The number 2 hitter of the order, Tim Foli, is the batter. Bruce Boisclair is on deck. Crowd getting excited now. Flynn, the lead runner, on third, Zachry on second, and Randle on first. Here's the pitch. Slider outside. 1 ball, no strikes. Montreal with the infield straight away at second and short. The infield is in at first and third for a play at the plate. The outfield is straight away. Dews checks the runner at second. Now the pitch. Swing and a miss. 1 ball and 1 strike. Montreal Expos are very happy with their ball club this year. They say if they have an Achilles heel, it will be their bullpen. Foley waiting, the 1-1 delivery. Ground ball hit down to third, might be a double play. Garrett goes to second, they have one, and on to first, out, a double play. So Foley hits into a double play, and the side retired. Hal Dews getting Foley to hit a ground ball down to Wayne Garrett, and he goes around the infield, and the Mets miss a big opportunity. Montreal turning double plays of each of the first 2 innings. No runs, 1 hit, 2 left on. Now, at the end of 2 innings, it's New York 2, Montreal nothing. Third inning at Shea in the first game of a doubleheader. We have a lot of baseball left on this beautiful Sunday afternoon. If you haven't finalized your plans for the day, come here and enjoy baseball with the New York Mets in the National League. Third inning. Mets missing an opportunity to almost blow one wide open. But you have to give the relief pitcher, Hal Dews, some credit. He made the batter hit the ball on the ground and into a double play. Now we go to the third, and to pick up the action for you, here's Ralph Kiner.
Thank you, Bob Murphy, and hi, everyone. Hal Dews will lead off for Montreal. Dews coming in to replace Wayne Twitchell, who was exceptionally wild with 5 walks and 1 hit batter. But the Expos are still in the ball game. And the first pitch is looped over the first baseman's head. It's into shallow right field for a base hit. So Dews boops one off his hands over the head of Willie Montanez, and the ball dropping in and rolling to a dead stop out into shallow right field. And the Expos now have a runner on with no one out. That'll bring up right fielder Ellis Valentine, who is batting in the leadoff position. Valentine, a power hitter last year, batted in the power slots in the batting order, but this year he is leading off. At least he is leading off here early in the season. Valentine batting an even .300. He's been up 10 times. Looped a base hit to right field in the first inning off Pat Zachry. Then Zachry starts off with a curveball, gets a swinging strike. Valentine had an outstanding season last year for Montreal, batting at .313 with 14 home runs and 57 RBIs. Zachry has struck out 3, and he has struck out all 3 of his batters with a changeup. And the right-hander sets up the pitch back, a fastball inside. It moves Valentine back away from the plate. Montanez at first base playing off the bag with the pitcher, the base runner there. And the pitch back to Valentine. A good hard slider at the knees on the outside corner. And again a swing and a miss. And that swing a wild swing. 1-2 the count. Cardinals did not score in the top of the first against the Philadelphia Phillies. Now the Phillies coming up. Next pitch is swung on and grounded foul, so the count stays at 1-2. Cardinals have won one and lost one, playing the Phillies in their opening series. In that ball game, John Urea pitching for the Cardinals, 7-6 last year. Randy Lurch going for Philadelphia. He was 10-6 last year. Next delivery by Zachry high and outside. 2 balls and no strikes. Starting pitcher, Chicago at Pittsburgh. Woody Fryman 5-5 at Cincinnati last year against Jerry Royce, who was 10-13 for the Pirates last season. Now time is called as Hodges goes over to get another glove. Evidently some damage done to the webbing of the glove he was using. Toronto did not score in the top of the first against the Taggers. And the next pitch to Valentine hit off the end of the bat foul. We have a correction on that Toronto score. They got 3 in the top of the first off Jack Billingham, who is 10-10 at Cincinnati. So Toronto leading the Taggers by a score of 3-0 after 1/2 inning. Tom Underwood pitching for Toronto. He was 9-11 at St. Louis last year. Swing and a miss. And Valentine has struck out, and again it was the change of pace. So Zachry, using a very baffling changeup, has now struck out 4 and all on the change. That'll bring up Dave Cash, who grounded into a double play his first time up. Cash batting an even .500. He's been up 10 times. Boston at Chicago, Bill Lee in the mound, 9-5 last year against Wilbur Wood, 7-8 last year. White Sox have won their first 2 games. And the Red Sox, of course, have lost their first 2. Ground ball to third. Randle has it. He tries for 2. On to second in time. And on to first base for the double play. And for the second time, Cash is grounded into a double play, and that retires his side. No runs, 1 hit, no one left on base. And the score after 2.5 innings, it is the Mets 2 and the Expos nothing. Well, we've seen 4 double plays in the first 2.5 innings of this game. And we're moving to the bottom of the third. The Mets coming up, and the leadoff batter will be Bruce Boisclair, who has accounted for the 2 runs for the Mets with his first home run of the year. His home run followed a walk to Tim Foli. Home run by Boisclair was hit off starting pitcher Wayne Twitchell, so Boisclair now batting for the first time against Al Dude. Bruce really hit his home run. It was against the back wall in the bullpen, 428 feet away. His first year in the major leagues, Boisclair had 2 home runs. His second year, he had 4. And in his first starting assignment here today, he's had 1. And Dews with the first pitch is swung on and missed, strike 1. Dews came in the game in relief of Twitchell with the bases loaded, and he got Tim Foli to ground into a double play, his first batter. And the right-hander's 1 strike pitch, a changeup outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. Dews was 1-1 with Montreal last season. His 1 victory coming against the Pittsburgh Pirates. He also was at Quebec, where he won 6 and lost 6. And he comes back with a slider over the inside corner. It's swung on and missed. It's 1-2. Dews was bothered by a bad arm in the early part of his minor league season last year. And the right-hander's next pitch just inside, and the count 2 balls, 2 strikes. That pitch was close. And now the 2-2 pitch on the way, and it's grounded foul. Mets have had 6 base runners without a base hit. They received 5 walks from the pitching arm of Wayne Twitchell. He also hit a batter. Mets have had 2 hits in the game, the home run by Boisclair following a walk, and the single by Doug Flynn. Two balls, 2 strikes. Boisclair, a left-hand batter, using a very wide stance. And the next pitch, grounded foul. Ball hit down the first base side. The count remains at 2 balls and 2 strikes. The Mets open up the Montreal season at Olympic Stadium. next weekend. Montreal moving on after the doubleheader for 2 games for the Philadelphia Phillies before going home for their home opener. And a breaking ball just low, and the count at 3-2. Boisclair playing left field today. Steve Henderson being rested in the first game of this doubleheader. He's had a very bad cold. Here's the 3-2 pitch, and it's fouled back. Fastball fouled off, so the count remains at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Mets went to a platoon system against Wayne Twitchell, who is tough on right-hand batters. Ron Hodges starting the game as a left-hand batter and the catcher in place of John Stearns. 3-2 pitch grounded to the second baseman, Dave Cash. He has it, and a throw to first base for the out. That'll bring up Willie Montanez, who walked his first time up in the 3-2 pitch. Boisclair, in grounding out, now has had 2 hits and 3 times up. Montanez coming up is 1 for 8. His 1 base hit was a double down the left field line. Left-hand batter. Broke into the major leagues his rookie year with a fantastic year. 30 home runs and 99 runs batted in. Playing for the Philadelphia Phillies. Here's the first pitch, a called strike. Even though he had 30 home runs and 99 RBIs, he was not the rookie of the year. The 1-strike pitch. Swung on and fouled back. So it's strike 2. Earl Williams was the rookie of the year that year. Rookie of the year last year was Andre Dawson, the center fielder for Montreal. And Dawson's credentials just barely edging out Steve Henderson by 1 vote. Next pitch is hit high in the air to right center field. It's way back. It's going to be back to the wall, but there is the right fielder Valentine, and he makes the catch. Long fly ball by Montanez. But he goes for an out, 2 men away, and it brings up Ken Henderson. Dawson last year batted .282 with 19 home runs and 65 RBIs. Henderson batted .297 with 12 home runs and 65 RBIs and missed by 1 vote of being a co-holder of the Rookie of the Year. First pitch to Henderson, high and outside, ball 1. Ken walked on 4 pitches his first time up. Henderson 2 for 6 so far this year. Switch hitter batting left-handed. And the next pitch, a changeup, a called strike. Al Dews pitching for Montreal. Mets leading 2-0, 2 men out, bottom half of the 3rd. And Henderson looks at a slider that's too low. 2 balls, 1 strike. Wind up and the 2-1 pitch, a changeup, line to right field. Valentine charging, and he dives for it, but he can't get it. He catches it on the first hop, the short hop after the diving try, and Henderson has a base hit. So the Mets get their 3rd hit of the ball game. They have a runner at first base with 2 men out, and the batter will be Lee Mazzilli. Mazzilli lined into a double play his first time up. He hit a hard shot to right field with runners at first and second. Runner at second base was Willie Montanez, and he evidently thought there were 2 out, and he went off streaking toward third and was easily doubled at second after the catch. Either he thought there were 2 men out when the ball was hit, or he thought it was going to be a base hit. But the way he was running from the start, I would guess he had the count wrong on the out count. The next pitch to the plate is in the dirt, dug out by Carter. Good play by the catcher, and it's ball 1. Mazzilli's line drive was hit extremely hard, and it hung up long enough for Valentine to come in and catch it right at the ankles. Lee is off to a good start. He's hit the ball exceptionally well. 4 for 9. 1 home run and 2 doubles. And Dews with a breaking ball too low, 2 balls and no strikes. Mazzilli batted .250 last year. Philadelphia Phillies have scored 5 runs in the bottom of the first. Cardinals came back with 1 in the second, and the Phillies lead 5-1 after 1.5. Andrews misses high. It's ball 3. Bob Boone had a home run with 2 men on, his first of the year for 3 of the 5 runs off John Urea, the starting pitcher for the Cardinals. Randy Lerch pitching for the Phillies. And at the end of 2, it's Chicago 1, Pittsburgh nothing. Fryman against Royce. And the next pitcher called strike, and the count goes to 3 balls and 1 strike. Mazzilli out of the batter's box, checking the signs, now getting back in. Batting left-handed against the right-hander. Runner goes. The ball is swung on and missed. Carter sort of second in plenty of time, and Ken Henderson is gunned down on the attempted steal or missed hit and run. In the inning, no runs, 1 hit, no one left on base. And the score at the end of 3, it's the Mets 2 and the Expos nothing.
The day is done. Coming home. It's time to let it go. It's the moment to unwind. Welcome home. So just say bud. Say bud. And pour the king of beers and settle back and please yourself. No matter what you do, no matter when or where, you know a glass of bud is like an easy chair when you're there. Let me tell you something. Settling back with a long day behind you and a cold bud in front of you, my man, that's living. When you're there, you said it all. Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis.
It's the top of the 4th inning. The Mets leading 2-0 on Bruce Boisclair's 2-run home run in the first. And now the Expos coming up against Pat Zachry in the 4th inning. It'll be Andre Dawson, Gary Carter, and Tony Perez as the first 3 batters. Zachry has given up no runs on 3 hits. He has struck out 4, walked none. His first strikeout victim was Andre Dawson, who is now batting for the second time. Dawson 1 for 8 so far this year. And Pat Zachry reading the signs and into the windup. Check swing, ground ball on an swing down to the first baseman, Montanez. He throws to Zachry covering at the bag. And on 1 pitch, Dawson is out. That'll bring up Gary Carter, who has struck out on a 3-2 changeup his first time up. Carter batting .333. He's been up 9 times. Powerful right-hand batter with 31 home runs last season. He's had 1 so far this year. And Zachry's pitch is hit high in the air to left center field. Moving over is Lee Mazzilli. Puts the glasses down, gets under it, and makes the catch. So 2 pitches and 2 men away, and that'll bring up Tony Perez. Perez was safe on an error his first time up. Has been up 9 times with 2 base hits. And he's driven in 1 run. And the first pitch has taken the called strike. Mets leading 2-0 on a 2-run home run by Boisclair. Zachry's 1 strike pitch hit hard, and it's a base hit to left field, right by Tim Foli, and Perez has his 3rd hit of the year. That puts a runner on and brings up Del Unser. Unser single to right field his first time up on a 3-2 fastball. Left-hand batter with 1 base hit and 6 times up this season. Unser started his major league career with the Washington Ball Club, Washington, D.C., playing for Ted Williams, who was manager then. And Dell takes the first pitch, a fastball high. Perez not being held on by Montanez at first base. He doesn't figure to be running. Zachry back with a slider. It's low. 2 balls, no strikes. And Zachry to the set position, the next delivery. Missing high and outside, 3-0. Unser checks to see whether or not he'll be hitting. Norm Shea, the third base coach. Former Major League catcher and Major League manager. Brother of Larry Shea. And the 3-0 pitch, a call, strike 3-1. Larry Shea had a great World Series against the Chicago White Sox back in 1959. Pitching for the Dodgers. The 3-1 pitch on the way and a curveball inside, and Unser walks, and that puts runners at first and second with 2 men out. First walk by Zachry. And now Zachry pitching to Wayne Garrett. Wayne was struck out his first time up. Garrett 1 for 5 so far this year. Had a good year last year for Montreal before he got injured. Was batting at .270. He had a knee operation and is coming back off the operation and feels about 80% back to normal. Left-hand batter and Zachry with the pitch. It's lined to center field. Mazzilli will have to hurry to get to it. He moves over with a good jump and makes the catch. That retires the side. No runs, 1 hit and a walk, and 2 men left. And the score at the end of 3.5 innings, it's the Mets 2 and the Montreal Expos nothing. It's the Met half of the 4th inning as the Mets lead 2-0 in the first game of this doubleheader. And for the Mets, the leadoff batter will be Lee Mazzilli. Mazzilli was batting when Ken Henderson on a 3-1 pitch was thrown out at second. On the pitch, Mazzilli swung and missed. And Carter with a throw on down to second base got Henderson. So Mazzilli will start with a new count. Lee lined into a double play his first time up. It'll be Lee Mazzilli, Ron Hodges, and Doug Flynn as the first 3 batters for Hal Dews, who came in the game in relief of Wayne Twitchell with 1 man out in the second. Twitchell in 1 1/3 innings gave up 2 runs, allowed 2 hits, walked 5, and hit 1 batter. And the first pitch to Mazzilli is bunted foul back into the stand. Dews came in the game with the bases loaded and 1 man out in the second and got Tim Foli to ground into a double play. So Mazzilli attempting to bunt his way on, fouls it off, and now back in the batter's box. The 1 strike pitch has taken a changeup for ball 1. The 1-1 delivery on the way and bunted out toward first base, and the ball bounces up and hits Mazzilli out of the batter's box, so Mazzilli is out. Put out goes to the catcher as Lee runs into the ball in fair territory and is out. That'll bring up Ron Hodges. Hodges grounded out his first time up. And the first pitch, a called strike. Hodges batting for the first time in this season in the second inning. Hit a hard ground ball to first base. It took a bad hop, but Perez handled the hop and then retired Hodges unassisted. Dews back inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. The 1-1 pitch is low and inside, ball 2. Dews was signed by Red Murph, so he is a product of the Montreal Expos farm system. Red Murph at one time worked for the Mets. From the Mets, he went to Montreal. The 2-1 pitch. Swung on and fouled. Ball back into the stands, out of play. Red Murph signed up Nolan Ryan, Jerry Kuzman, and others. Two and two, the count to Ron Hodges. And the pitch to the left-hand batter. Again fouled off. Count remains 2 balls, 2 strikes. Once again, the 2-2 pitch on the way. And it's popped up. A high fly ball out to shallow right field. Valentine moves in under it. And he backs up a step or 2 at the last minute and makes a one-handed catch. 2 men out. That'll bring up Doug Flynn, who singled his first time up. Flynn is 2 for 7 this year. Leading 2-0 on a 2-run home run by Bruce Boisclair in the first inning. First pitch to Doug Flynn, a fastball fouled off and strike 1. Al Dews back to the plate, and Flynn moves out the bunt but takes the pitch low and outside for a ball. One ball, 1 strike. Next pitch is again low, and it's 2-1. Dews reading the signs now. Back to work, and the 2-1 delivery. Swung on and missed. Good slider, low and outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Now at 2-2, the pitch. Strike 3 call. Got a fastball on by, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Hal Dews. And the score at the end of 4 as Bob Murphy comes back in for the play-by-play. It's the Mets 2 and the Montreal Expos nothing.
Montreal will have the number 8 batter, Chris Speier, up against Pat Zachry at the top of the 5th inning. Right here, we pause for station identification. This is the New York Mets Baseball Network.
Say, the next time you're planning a picnic, don't forget to fill the cooler with ice-cold Budweiser. There's a perfect time to call on the king of beers, WMCA New York.
Bob Murphy with Lindsey Nelson and Ralph Kiner, top of the 5th. New York 2, Montreal nothing. The shortstop, Chris Speier, who bats right-handed. Batting for the second time in the game, he was out on a pop fly to Tim Foli. Here's the pitch by Zachry. Had him tied up, but it missed inside, hip high. 1 ball and no strikes. Relief pitcher Hal Dews, the on-deck batter. To the top of the batting order for the right fielder, Ellis Valentine. And a check swing and a slider outside, ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. Pat Zachry has walked 1 and struck out 4. Allowed no runs and scattered 4 base hits. Montreal has had 1 hit in each of the first 4 innings of the game. Mets have had only 3 hits but lead 2-0 on a 428-foot home run by Bruce Boisclair. Foul ball back toward the press box, no play. 2 balls and 1 strike. Doubleheader today. The North Cubs series gets underway tomorrow afternoon. 3 afternoon ball games, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. All 3 are senior citizens games. Inside ball 3. So Zachry on the verge of walking the leadoff batter, something a pitcher hates to do. He gets behind on Speier, 3-1. Three-one delivery. He goes after it, a foul pop behind the plate. Ronnie Hodges has room. He's standing under it. He has it. So on 3-1, Speier is fouled out to Ronnie Hodges. He caught the ball right behind the plate. With one away, the pitcher, Hal Dews, now will bat. He hit a bloop just over the head of Montanez for a single to right field in the 3rd inning. One out and nobody on in the visiting 5th inning. Game 3 of a 4-game series. Mets won the opener 3-1 behind Jerry Kuzman. Strike call. And a thriller yesterday. Down to their last out in the bottom half of the 9th inning. Eddie Kranepool came out as a pinch hitter, won the game with a 2-run homer. Now a curve on the outside corner, strike 2. Zachry winding. Too high. 1 ball and 2 strikes. The tall, thin man from Waco, Texas, Pat Zachry. With the Reds 2 years ago, co-holder of rookie honors. Way outside, ball 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Hal Dews. Hal Dews spent most of last year in the Eastern League. Montreal brought him in for a look in September, and they liked him. Strike 3, fastball right down the middle. Number 5 for Pat Zachry. So Zachry is sailing along, averaging a strikeout per inning in the ball game. 2 outs and nobody on. Here's the leadoff batter, Ellis Valentine. And the pitch on the way. Works the inside corner. A call strike to Valentine. Valentine has a Texas leaguer to short right, and he was struck out with a changeup in the 3rd. Talented right-hand batter, half swing. They want it checked out. It's no swing, 1 ball and 1 strike. Beautiful day for baseball, a little on the cool side, but not a cloud around. Now the 1-1 delivery. Breaking ball inside, a slider missing. It's 2 balls and a strike. Ronnie Hodges setting up a target. Drive in the air to deep left, way back. Boisclair back to the wall. It's gone for a home run. The ball hit the very top of the fence and skidded into the bullpen, a home run. And we have a 2-1 ball game. Valentine hit 25 for Montreal last year. That was a line shot that just skimmed off the very top of the bullpen and goes into the bullpen for a home run. Boisclair thought it was going to hit the top of the fence. It did. It hit that very top board and just sliced on into the bullpen. Dave Cash, the batter, and he's driven off the plate by Pat Zachry. 1 ball and no strikes. Montreal has some legitimate home run hitting talent. Gary Carter hit 31 last year. Ellis Valentine hit 25. And a fly ball hit the center field. Easing back Lee Mazzilli. He turns and waits, and it's in the basket for the out. 1 run, 1 hit, a home run by Valentine. No errors and none left. So we are halfway at the end of 4 1/2. The Mets 2 and the Expos 1.
Incredible. Today there is a 2-year-old car worth even more than its original cost. Need a hint? It starts with a D and ends with a Z. The Datsun 280Z. first name in quality, last word in performance. The Datsun 280Z, crafted to precision everywhere, from its independent suspension at all four corners, to its agile rack and pinion steering, to its AM/FM multiplex stereo, all the way to its famous six-cylinder fuel-injected engine. The 280Z, Datsun's masterpiece. If you didn't buy one 2 years ago, get a new Z today. It's proven itself a fuel-injected investment.
Nobody demands more from a Datsun than Datsun. We are that.
Now the home fifth inning in the first game of today's doubleheader. For New York, Pat Zachry leads off against Hal Dews. Dews replaced Wayne Twitchell in the second inning of the game. And the 23-year-old righty has done quite well. He now has worked 2 2/3 at relief, allowed no runs and only a single to right by Ken Henderson. The windup by Dews, the pitch to Zachry is high and tight, ball 1. Zachry reached on a walk his previous time at bat in the second inning. At that time, Wayne Twitchell was early. Ground ball right back to the mound. Easy play for Dews. Over to Tony Perez, 1 down. Lenny Randle has been up twice. He has been on base twice. He drew a walk in the first, and he was hit by a pitch ball in the second. Lenny's still seeking his first hit of the new season, although he has had only 6 official times at bat in 3 ball games. Randle hitting left-handed against Hal Dews. Fastball high, ball 1. At the end of 3, the Cubs 2 and the Pirates 1. Woody Fryman against Jerry Royce. Curve wide. Over the years, Woody Fryman has always been an outstanding early season pitcher. He gets most of his wins in the early part of the year. 2-0 delivery. Strike call, 2-1. The Phillies 5 and the Cardinals 1 at the end of 3. Phillies got all 5 in the first inning off John Urea. Boone hit a 3-run homer. At the knees, a call strike, 2-2. Here are the warm-ups in Atlanta for the Dodgers. Rick Rhoden, he won 16 last year. And for the Braves, Tommy Boggs fouled off. Boggs was with the Rangers last year. Came to Atlanta in that 3-corner deal that brought Willie Montanez to New York. And Tommy Grieve. Nothing yet on Houston at Cincinnati or San Diego at San Francisco. 2-2 delivery. Hit in the air to left field. Fairly easy play. Unser moving toward the line is under it. Puts it away for the out. So 2 men away. Nobody on. Now Tim Foli coming up. Yankees play later today against the Rangers in Texas. Toronto 3, Detroit nothing after 1. Underwood and Billingham, 2 former National Leaguers, making their American League debut. Boston will pitch Bill Lee against Wilbur Wood in Chicago. Fly ball hit foul down the right field line by Tim Foli, out of play. Whitey Herzog's Kansas City Royals are in Cleveland. Steve Busby trying to hit the comeback trail, opposed by the former Red Sox pitcher Rick Wise. Fastball under the knees. 1 ball, 1 strike. Baltimore manhandled the last 2 days by Milwaukee. We'll call on Scott McGregor today against Larry Sorensen of the Brewers. And a fly ball into short center field. Easy play for Andre Dawson, and the side retired. The Mets go quietly in their half of the 5th inning. No runs, no hits, none left. At the end of 5 now at Shea Stadium, the New York Mets 2 and the Montreal Expos 1. Well, here's good news for New York Mets fans. Now containers of Dairy Lean low-fat milk carry free coupons good for free tickets to the Mets baseball games. You have your choice of 20 games during the season. They're printed on the container. So we're pretty sure we have a game of your choice for you to see free. You can find Dairy Lean low-fat milk in the colorful purple container in the dairy case at your local food store. It's protein fortified with vitamins A and D added. If you're watching your diet, remember it contains only 1% milk fat. It's a great product because it satisfies hunger and thirst at the same time, filling you up without filling you out. So try Dairy Lean low-fat milk soon. Save those coupons printed on the carton and come on out to see a Met game free. So we have a low-scoring game going. Mets 2 and the Expos 1, sixth inning. And Pat Zachry will have to face the heart of the Montreal batting order: Andre Dawson, Gary Carter, and Tony Perez. Center fielder Andre Dawson has struck out and bounced out. He is 0 for 2. As a rookie last year, Dawson batted .282. Montreal hitting is predominantly right-handed. On the inside corner, strike one call. The infield and the outfield straight away against Andre Dawson. Curveball swung on and missed. Pat Zachry with a 2-strike count on Andre Dawson. In 5 innings, Zachry has walked 1 and fanned 5. Allowed 1 run and 5 hits. Ground ball hit slowly towards second. Moving forward is Foley. Hurries the throw. He got in. Good fielding by Tim Foli, gliding towards second base to come up with the roller. The catcher, Gary Carter, has been struck out and flied out to Mazzilli. Right-handed hitter, and a good one. And the pitch by Zachry, curveball, outside and low, ball 1. Yesterday, it was Gary Carter's birthday. He turned 24. What a future he has. The 1-0 delivery, inside, ball 2, 2 balls and no strikes. Now Gary Carter getting out of the batter's box for a moment. Mets 2, Expos 1. We're in the 6th. Well hit to deep left field, but it's playable, and Boisclair will be under it, and he has it for the out. That ball fooled me. I thought it was hit better than it was. But it was hit down off the end of the bat by Gary Carter, and it was just a routine fly ball to left field. Now there are 2 away, and the hitter is Tony Perez. 1 for 2. He singled to left field his last time up. Zachary's pitch on the way, popped up on the right side of the infield. Doug Flynn calling for it midway between first and second, and Flynn has it for the out. Very good inning for Pat Zachry against the middle of the Montreal batting order. No runs, no hits, and none left. Now in the middle of the 6th inning, New York 2, Montreal 1.
How do you end up a winner in the savings game? Bring your savings to County Federal Savings and Loan. If you wanted to, you could bounce your bankroll from one big bank to another, from the Bowery to the Dime to Lincoln to Dry Dock, Greenwich, Dollar. Yet nobody pays higher interest than County Federal. Whether you keep your savings in a day-to-day account or on a short-term or long-term savings certificate, County Federal pays you the highest interest permitted by law. Your interest is credited monthly and compounded daily, so you get the highest return you can earn in a federally insured account. You can use your interest as you earn it each month, because you don't have to wait for the end of a quarter, or you can leave it in your account to earn more interest. Free money orders for depositors and free traveler's checks, too. There's a County Federal branch near you in Rockville Center, Valley Stream, Wantagh, Levittown, Comac, Coram, Medford, Astoria, Kew Garden Hills, Brooklyn, and Manhattan.
York leading Montreal 2-1. It is the bottom half of the 6th inning. First game of a doubleheader. Mike Brewer, a 26-year-old rookie who has labored in the Mets farm system for 7 years, will get his first start in the major leagues in the second game of this doubleheader today. His mound opponent will be Ross Grimsley. Mets haven't seen Grimsley since the 73 Championship Series. Now the windup by Dews and the pitch to Beauclair. Low inside, ball one. Mets lead this game on the strength of a 2-run homer by Beauclair in the first inning of the game with a man on. Swing and a miss and a breaking ball. 23-year-old Hal Dews, a Texan, has pitched sensational ball in relief for Montreal. In 3 2/3 innings, he's allowed no runs and only 1 hit, a single by Ken Henderson. So Montreal so far has gotten tremendous relief pitching in this game. The 1-1 delivery misses wide, and the count is 2-1 on Beauclair. Steve Henderson has a very bad head cold, but will probably play the second game against Grimsley. And a swing and a miss, 2-2. Willie Montanez will be the next hitter. The 2-2 delivery. Check swing. It just missed the outside corner. So the string is out now at 3-2 to Beauclair, leading off the home 6th inning. The payoff delivery. Hit hard. A base hit to right by Bruce Boisclair. He ripped the 3-2 breaking ball. Hard liner into right. 4th hit of the game for New York, only the second off Hal Dews. Willie Montanez will come up. Willie has drawn a walk and flied to very deep right field. Valentine went back by the wall to take it. Breeze blew to right field early in the game, now has turned and gone the other way. So the left-hand hitters who pull the ball did not get any help. Ground ball, base hit, going into right field. Beauclair around second. He'll stop there. Valentine with that great throwing arm. You just cannot run on him. Now the Mets are threatening. Runners on first and second, nobody out. Ken Henderson will hit. Veteran left-hander Darrell Knowles getting up in the Montreal bullpen, along with the Canadian-born right-hander Bill Atkinson. Lee Mazzilli on deck. Let's see how the Mets are going to play this. Ken Henderson has walked and singled to right. Before this inning, he had the only hit off Hal Dews. Now the pitch on the way. Swing and a miss. Good low breaking ball by the right-hander. Now Kenny Henderson didn't like the way the grip felt. Goes back to the on-deck circle to get the pine tar cloth and get a better grip on that bat handle. Practically every player on both sides wearing not one but 2 batting gloves today. Beauclair on second. Montanez on first. Now the pitch to Henderson is outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. The Mets 2 and the Expos 1 here in the last of the 6th inning. Kenny Henderson cocks the bat and waits. Foul ball skidding on the ground, right straight back. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Lee Mazzilli will be next, and then Ron Hodges. 5 left-hand hitters in a row coming up against the young right-hander Hal Dews. Joe Torre overloaded his lineup with left-handers against Twitchell, the starter, who's very tough on right-hand hitters. Twitchell was not around long. This was not his day. He did not have his control. But this young man, Hal Dewis, has certainly kept Montreal in the ballgame. The 1-2 delivery, strike 3 call. Henderson is caught looking, and he is objecting to the call by John McSherry. For Hal Dewis, a very big strikeout and his second of the game. Now Lee Mazzilli. Mazzilli has lined out to right field, and then he tried to drag a bunt, and the ball hit him on the hand, so he was automatically out. Each team with 5 hits in the ball game. The Mets leading by the narrow margin of 2-1. In comes the pitch to Mazzilli. Curve inside. He started to go, held up on his swing. Boisclair on second and Montanez on first. They had back-to-back singles. Dewis made a big pitch in getting Ken Henderson. Mets trying to keep the pressure on with Lee Mazzilli, the batter. Lee, one of the stars of yesterday's victory, with a 2-run homer. The 1-0 delivery, low and outside ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. Now Mazzilli steps back out of the batter's box, takes a couple of phantom swings. Hitter likes to be in this position. The pitcher behind him, 2-0. The runners take a lead. 2-0 delivery. In the dirt, blocked by Gary Carter. The runners can't move up. Throw to first. Safe at first. Montanez just got back. Montanez may be hurt. Montanez may have jammed a shoulder diving back into the bag. Tom McKenna is out there, and so is Joe Torre. The pitch in the dirt was blocked by Gary Carter, and it bounced back toward the mound. Montanez broke for second base, but realized that Boisclair could not go over. Then Carter threw to first base, and on a close play, Montanez got back. But he came back head first and may have jammed a hand or a shoulder. Now Tom McKenna is looking at his mouth. And apparently he is all right. Well, what do you do here if you're manager of the Mets? Do you give your batter a green light on 3-0? Hal Dewis has not walked a man in relief. Should he walk Mazzilli, it would load the bases with 1 out and bring up Ron Hodges. If that happens, we might get the left-hander, Darrell Knowles. Now the stretch by the right-hander. And the pitch on the way. He was taking all away, and it's over a strike call. Three balls, 1 strike to Lee Mazzilli. Gary Carter sends out the sign for the next delivery. The outfield playing Mazzilli has a pull hitter around to right. 3-1 delivery. Ground ball hit hard, foul down the right field line. And it was just foul. So it is 3-2 now on Lee Mazzilli. Now let us keep an eye on the base runners and see if they're holding up or if they move. Dangerous play, of course, to send the runners if the batter should strike out. An excellent play if he hits it. Boisclair is the runner on second and Montanez on first. Hal Dewis with a 3-2 count on Lee Mazzilli. The right-hander in the set position. Here's the pitch. Inside, ball 4. The bases are loaded. Dick Williams is coming out. He has Darrell Knowles, the veteran left-hander, in his bullpen. And Knowles will come in the ballgame to pitch to Ronnie Hodges. Ronnie is a left-handed hitter. This has been a very good relief job by Hal Dewis. He has slammed the door until this point and given Montreal a chance and kept them in the ballgame. he will leave the game with one away in the 6th inning. So he actually has pitched a total of 4 innings in relief. He gave up only 3 singles, walked 1, and struck out 2. And now Darrell Knowles will be coming in the game. When Lee Mazzilli first came up to the major leagues, he hit a home run off Darrell Knowles, batting right-handed at Wrigley Field in Chicago. Mazzilli has just drawn a walk. It'll be Ronnie Hodges scheduled to hit. While the pitching change is being made, here's an update on the scoreboard, and here's Lindsey Nelson.
Okay, Bob, in the National League, the Chicago Cubs at Pittsburgh are leading the Pirates by a score of 2-1 in the 4th inning. Woody Fryman going for Chicago. He was 5-5 at Cincinnati last year. Jerry Royce, the left-hander, going for Pittsburgh with the Pirates last year. He was 10-13. Cubs 2, Pirates 1 in the 4th. St. Louis Cardinals and the Phillies are down at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia in the bottom of the 4th inning. And the Phils, on the strength of a 5-run first inning, are leading by a score of 5-3. John Urier is the starter for St. Louis. Dave Hamlin relieved him in the 4th inning. Lurch is the pitcher for the Phillies. He was 10-6 for the Phils last year. Bob Boone hit his first home of the year in the first with 2 on. And Keith Hernandez homered for the Cardinals, his first of the year in the 4th with 1 man on. So the Phils are leading 5-3. San Diego Padres are at San Francisco against the Giants. That's at Candlestick in San Francisco, a later start. The Houston Astros are at Riverfront in Cincinnati. That's also a later start. And the Dodgers in Atlanta are just underway. The Dodgers did not score in the top of the first. The Atlanta Braves are coming to bat. Rick Rhoden, 16-10 with the Dodgers last year against Tommy Boggs, 0-3 for Texas. Right now, we pause for station identification. This is the New York Mets Baseball Network.
You know, any time is the right time for Budweiser. Give it a try the next time you and your friends have a night on the town. If you're looking for great taste, Budweiser is ready when you are. WMCA, New York.
This is Lindsey Nelson with Bob Murphy and Ralph Kiner at Shea Stadium in the American League. The Yankees are at Texas later. Ed Figueroa against Doyle Alexander. In the 5th inning, Detroit leads Toronto 7-3. Right now it's Tom Murphy in relief against Jack Bellingham. Boston at Chicago. Bill Lee against Wilbur Wood. Kansas City and Cleveland, no score at the end of an inning. Steve Busby against Rick Wise. Baltimore 1, Milwaukee coming to bat. Scott McGregor against Larry Sorensen. Milwaukee at Seattle later. Oakland at California later. And again, here's Bob Murphy.
Big roar from the crowd here at Shea Stadium. Joe Torre is sending Steve Henderson to the plate to bat for Ron Hodges. Darrell Knowles, now 36 years old, veteran of 12 years in the major leagues, is now pitching. Knowles hurled for the Texas Rangers last year. He was 5-2 in relief and had 14 saves. Montreal will bring the infield in. Boisclair on third, Montanez on second, and Mazzilli on first. 1 man away. Now Knowles, the veteran left-hander, will pitch from the stretch. Steve Henderson cocks the bat and waits. Here's the pitch. Low outside, ball 1. Joe Torre making his move, trying to get runs on the board. Boisclair led with a single. Montanez single. Mazzilli is walked. 1 down. Henderson, very deliberate as a batter, likes to step out after almost every pitch. The 1-0 delivery, swing and a foul tip. 1 ball, 1 strike. Mets 2 and the Expos 1. Steve Henderson, 2 for 7 over the first 2 games of the new season. 1 home run, he hit that yesterday. 1 RBI. Mets had 3 homers in winning yesterday. Henderson got the first one. Then Mazzilli crashed a 2-run homer. Cranepool won the game with 2 outs in the 9th with a 2-run homer. Skip Lockwood is up now in the New York Mets bullpen. The base is loaded. Montreal playing the infield end for a play at the plate. Darrell Knowles, a crafty lefty, working from the stretch. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Steve Henderson. Doug Flynn is the on-deck batter. That's with their best scoring opportunity since the first 2 innings of the game, when they threatened to break it open but could not do it. Knowles shakes off a sign from Gary Carter. And Steve Henderson asks for time and steps out. Wayne Garrett, Chris Speier, Dave Cash, and Tony Perez playing in tight on the edge of the infield grass. Pitching. And a high fly hit deep to left field, way back going toward the wall. It may go. Gone. A grand slam home run. Grand slam home run by Steve Henderson. Steve hit one last year off Kent Tecalvi of the Pirates. So, yesterday, Joe Torre put up Ed Cranepool in the ninth as a pinch hitter. He clouded a two-run homer. He has just put up Steve Henderson behind in the count 1-2. He hit a drive well beyond the 371 mark. And the New York Mets lead Montreal 6-1. So, they hit 3 yesterday. And they've hit 2 in the ball game here today. Home runs driving in all 6 runs. Ground ball hit to third, cut off by Garrett. Now the throw to Tony Perez, that retires Doug Flynn. And on the grand slam by Steve Henderson, they send the sign to the bullpen for Skip Lockwood to sit down. For Steve Henderson, his second home run in 2 days. Now Pat Zachry is the hitter. The Mets open up a 6-1 lead on the grand slam by Steve Henderson. He hit it as a pinch hitter. Under the knees, 1 ball and 1 strike. 3 of the runs are charged to Hal Dews. 1 charged to Darrell Knowles. Low and outside to Zachry, 2-1. Pat Zachry has drawn a walk and bounced out. What a performance as a pinch hitter by Steve Henderson. Strike call to the outside corner, 2-2. Artie Friedman points out that the last time. Here's a ground ball slowly hit to third. Garrett grabs it, throws to first in time for the out. You have to go back to 1966 to find a grand slam homer hit as a pinch hitter, and that was by Hawk Taylor. So, in the 6th inning for New York, 4 runs, 3 hits, and none left. Lindsey Nelson will join you for the play-by-play in just a moment. At the end of 6, the Mets 6 and the Expos 1.
Recently, a survey was taken of the prices of premium gasoline. The survey covered hundreds of service stations in the northeastern United States. Virtually every major oil company was included. Right now, I'd like to tell you the results of that survey. In Portland, Maine, Getty Premium sold for less per gallon. In Boston, Getty Premium sold for less. In northern New Jersey, Philadelphia, and New York, Getty Premium sold for less. In fact, in every state surveyed, Getty Premium sold for less per gallon than most major premiums. More premium gas for your money. That has to be the best mileage ingredient you can buy. So the next time you pull in for gas, pull in for Getty Premium gasoline. Getty. Once again, we've got what's best for your car.
For the New York Mets, John Stearns comes in to do the catching now. As the Mets lead by a score of 6-1, the pinch grand slam homer by Steve Henderson was the first pinch grand slammer for a Met in 12 years, going back to 1966 when Hawk Taylor hit one for the New York Mets against Pittsburgh and Bob Veal. And so the Mets now have a 6-1 lead. Stearns takes over the catching duties, and Del Unser will come up to lead it off for the Montreal Expos. Del Unser, a former Met, has been on twice. He singled and he walked, facing Pat Zachry, who started and has been in all the way for the Mets. This is the first game of a doubleheader here at Shea. The Mets won the first 2 games of the series. That pitch is high for a ball. It's 1-0. Jerry Kuzman, of course, was the winning pitcher on opening day Friday when he had an 8-hitter, 7 strikeouts. The Mets won it by a score of 3-1. Here's Zachry's pitch. Swung on and hit in the air to right. Moving up is Ken Henderson. Can't get it. He one-hops it. Plays it back in Unser. Has a leadoff single. Second hit for Unser today, and Wayne Garrett will be the batter. He is also a former Met who has struck out and lined out to center field 0 for 2. Shortstop Tim Foli walks in to have a word with Pat Zachry. And we may get a little action cranked up down in the Met bullpen. We may get Skip Lockwood up and throwing again. Lockwood starts to throw. Zachry now with the pitch, and it's high for a ball. 1-0. The winner yesterday, when the Mets won 6-5 on a 2-run homer with 2 men out by Cranepool in the bottom of the ninth, the winner was Marty Cornejo, making his major league debut. Swinging a high pop fly to right center field. Mazzilli moves over, Henderson moves over, and Mazzilli makes the basket catch. Unser retreats to first, no advance, 1 away, and Chris Speier will be coming up. Chris Speier popped to short, foul to the catcher. He's 0 for 2. Speier came to the Montreal Expos last year from the San Francisco Giants in exchange for Tim Foli. Foli had been with Montreal for 5 years after having been traded there by the Mets in the Rusty Staub deal. Mets got Foli from San Francisco at the end of the season. Here's a fly ball to center field. And again, ranging over Mazzilli. He one-hands that one up in front of his face. And we're going to have Jerry White coming in now as a pinch hitter. He's going to bat for Darrell Knowles. Fred Holdsworth is throwing in the bullpen. Dick Williams goes to his bench, and, well, he should, trading by 5 runs here in the top of the 7th inning. So Jerry White, who has had 1 appearance this year, an unsuccessful one, is batting for the pitcher Darrell Knowles. Zachry with a pitch that is swung on and missed. It's strike 1. Jerry White batting from the left-hand side. Del Unser's the runner at first with 2 men out. Montreal batting here in the top of the 7th inning. First game of a Sunday doubleheader at Shea. First doubleheader of the season. Zachry sets up and checks. Deals a pitch inside, low. Rolls away from Stearns. He recovers. Short roll, no advance. Stearns ticketed to catch the second game of today's doubleheader. Ron Hodges was the starting catcher. Removed for pinch hitter Steve Henderson when Montreal went to a left-hand pitcher, Darrell Knowles. Here's a 1-1 pitch, and it's a check swing foul ball to the left side. Taken by Lenny Randle in foul territory near the bag. That ball started up the line well foul, and then hit a tuft of grass and started back toward the foul line. If it comes to the foul line or across it before getting to third, it is a fair ball, regardless of where it first initially hit. 1 ball and 2 strikes, the count. Zachry sets and checks. Unser leads, and the pitch is high for a ball. It's 2-2. Now again, Zachry is looking in to pick up his sign. Has it. Check swing foul ball off into the Montreal dugout. Well, yesterday, manager Dick Williams of Montreal was second guessed for allowing his right-hander Stan Monson to stay in there and pitch to Cranepool, a left-hand batter who delivered the game-winning homer. That's a foul ball back at first. The second guessers was saying, why didn't he bring in Darrell Knowles? Why didn't he bring in Knowles at that point? And then Joe Torre would have had to switch to a right-hand pinch hitter, and it would have been either Tom Grieve or Bobby Valentine. Well, today he went to Darrell Knowles, and so Joe Torre made his change. That pitch is in for a call, strike 3. Pin in there, curveball by Zachry. Strikeout number 6. The side is retired. There was a hit. There was 1 man left, and in the middle of the 7th inning, the score is the Mets 6 and Montreal 1. You know, the best buy in baseball yearbooks has traditionally been the New York Mets official yearbook, and the 1978 edition is certainly no exception. It contains 64 pages, half of them in color, filled with highlights such as a 2-page team picture suitable for framing, a dramatic photo of the 4 greatest center fielders in New York baseball history from last year's Old Timers Day ceremonies, color pictures of the 1977 All-Star teams, and a photo quiz of former Mets to test your memory. As you are well aware, the Mets roster has changed dramatically over the past year, and there's no better way to keep tabs on the team than with your own yearbook full of pictures, biographies, and statistics of Mets players old and new. Don't forget, the price of the 1978 Mets yearbook remains the lowest in baseball, only $1 here at Shea, $1.25 by mail. So pick up your copy at the ballpark the next time you come here, which we hope will be soon, or you can order by mail. Simply send a check or a money order for $1.25 to Mets Yearbook, Box 10, Flushing, New York, 11357. Again, that's a check or a money order for $1.25 to Mets Yearbook, Box 10, Flushing, New York, zip code 11357. Fred Holdsworth has come in to do the pitching. He will bat number 9. So Darrell Knowles is out of the ball game, credited with 2/3 of an inning. Charged with only 1 run. The homer, the other 3 runs of the Grand Slammer were charged to Hal Dews. 1 hit allowed by Knowles. That was the big one. He struck out none and he walked none. So Fred Holdsworth, the right-hander, is taking his warm-up pitches now. And the New York Mets will have the top of their batting order, Lenny Randle, up to lead it off. Randle walked, was a hit batsman, and flied out to left. Officially, he's 0 for 1 for the day. Lenny Randle, a switch hitter, batting left. Outfield defense sets up straight away. The wind is ripping the flag a little bit out toward right field. The wind is not blowing nearly as strongly here this afternoon as yesterday. Holdsworth now rocks into the motion, delivers a pitch that is in there for a call strike to Lenny Randle. 0-1. In the pitch, and it's outside. In the second game of today's doubleheader, Mike Brewer will be pitching for the Mets. Native of Jamaica, Long Island, he'll be making his major league debut. He's 6 feet 6 inches tall. Here's a 1-1 pitch swung on it on the ground to second base. Dave Cash has it. Plays it over to Tony Perez, and there's 1 away. Tim Foli is coming up now. Walked and later scored the first run in the first inning when Bruce Boisclair hit the homer. Since then, he's hit into a double play and flied to center, so he's 0 for 2 officially. 3 home runs for the Mets yesterday, 2 today. Line to third, and Wayne Garrett makes the catch for the out. Foley got around and drilled it, but right at the third baseman. So there are 2 men out, and Bruce Boisclair is coming up. Boisclair is 2 for 3. Had the 2-run home in the first. Singleton was on base when Steve Henderson hit his grand slammer in the 6th. Boisclair playing today because of the fact that Steve Henderson is hobbled with a bad head cold. Henderson was ticketed all along to start the second game against Ross Grimsley, who's a left-hander. That's in for a call strike now to Boisclair. The hits are all even in this game at 6 each. Holdsworth's pitch breaks high, and it's 1-1. Again, the delivery by the right-hander, and it's in there for a called strike. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Bruce Boisclair wears the number 4 on his back. Now the pitch. Inside low. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Was a time when the big hitters generally would wear Boisclair numbers 3, 4, and 5. That is low for a ball, and so now it's out full at 3 and 2 to Bruce Boisclair. That is no longer true, generally, of baseball teams. For years, Bud Harrelson wore number 3 for the Mets, and while he was a very excellent glove man, he was never exactly your big hitter. This will be the payoff pitch. Outside high, walked him. Boisclair gets rid of the bat. Goes down to first. That is the 7th base on balls issued today by Montreal pitching. Gives the Mets a 2-out base runner and brings up Willie Montanez, who is 1 for 2 and a walk. He's a left-hand batter, hitting cleanup. Has a mannerism of flipping the bat as he approaches the plate, from handle to barrel to handle to barrel, hopefully back to handle before taking the first swing. Perez holds against the runner at first. Boisclair leads. Holdsworth delivers, and the pitch is in for a called strike to Montanez. 0-1. Ross Grimsley pitching the second game. He's a left-hander. For Montreal, it'll be Grimsley against Brewer. There's a swing and a foul ball up the right field line, out of play. Montanez got around and golfed that one, the golfing stroke on the low pitch. Out of play, and the count's 0-2. Again, Holdsworth sets and checks. Boisclair leads. The 0-2 delivery. Swung on it in the air to left field. Retreating is Del Unser. He can play it at the edge of the warning track and left, and he's got it. So the side is retired. There was a walk, and there was 1 left. And at the end of 7, the score is the Mets 6 and Montreal 1.
When do you say Budweiser? Whenever the moment is right for a great beer. When do you say Budweiser? Whenever the good times are moving to right here. After the work is done, while you're still having fun, anytime's the right time to say it. When do you say Budweiser? But the beer for any time at all. When you say Budweiser, the number 1 beer is what you'll be drinking after the work is done. While you're still having fun, the king of beers is waiting for your call. When you say Budweiser, you said it all.
Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis.
For the Mets, Skip Lockwood comes in now to do the pitching. Skip Lockwood comes in to take over the pitching duties from Pat Zachry. Zachry, having worked the first 7 innings, charged with 1 run on 6 hits, struck out 6 and walked 1. Lockwood making his first relief appearance of the year. In the National League, as Lockwood warms up, Pittsburgh and Chicago in a 3-3 tie in the 6th inning. Woody Fryman against Jerry Royce. Philadelphia scored 5 more in the 4th inning, and that game is now in the bottom of the 6th, with the Phils leading the Cardinals 10-3. Buddy Schultz in relief for St. Louis against Lurch for the Phillies. Bob Boone, Keith Hernandez, and Mike Schmidt have had home runs. San Diego at San Francisco later in the 4th inning. Houston and Cincinnati are in the 3-3 tie. Mark Lemangelo 9-14 against Tom Hume 3-3. Dan Driesen hit his first homer in the first with 2 on for Cincinnati. And in the 3rd inning, Atlanta leads the Dodgers 3-1. Rick Rhoden against Tommy Boggs. Over in the American League, the Yankees are at Texas. Ed Figueroa against Darrell Alexander. In the 5th inning, Detroit 7, Toronto 3. Boston at Chicago. In the 3rd inning, Kansas City leads Cleveland 1-0. Steve Busby against Rick Wise. In the 2nd inning, Baltimore 1, Milwaukee 0. Scott McGurk against Larry Sorensen. Minnesota at Seattle later, and Oakland at California also later. Ellis Valentine up to lead it off, and here's the pitch. Swung on and fouled off to the right side, out of play. Montreal Expos are batting here in the top of the 8th inning. Valentine had a home run in the 5th inning. He is 2 for 3 today. Swing and a ground ball to short. Big hop taken by Foley. Guns it to Montanez, and there's one away. Dave Cash is coming up. He's gone 0 for 3 twice. He is into double plays today. Montreal is batting in the top of the 8th inning. The Mets are leading 6-1, and this is the first game of a doubleheader. Skip Lockwood's pitch swung on and hit in the air to deep left, and ranging over to play it is Boisclair, and he's got it. Quickly 2 away, and that'll bring up Andre Dawson. He has gone 0 for 3. He struck out, grounded out. Dawson is a right-hand batter. He bats number 3 in the order. Lockwood delivers a pitch, swung on, and popped up. A foul ball back of the plate, a towering pop. Chasing it around is Stearns, backed up by Randle, and Randle's got it. Stearns falling right at his feet. Randle made the catch of the high pop. Stearns falling right at his feet, and so the side is retired, nothing across. And in the middle of the 8th inning, the score is the Mets 6 and Montreal 1.
It took Datsun to design the first luxury car that's padded everywhere, except in price. The Datsun 810, the world's most underpriced luxury performance car. Comfortable, spacious, quality workmanship never seen before at this price. Power steering, AM/FM stereo, 6-way adjustable driver's seat, tilt steering wheel, and extra sound-absorbing insulation to give you a ride Road and Track magazine calls comparable to the Mercedes-Benz 280S. But under all this plush, there's the rush of a fuel-injected 6-cylinder 240Z engine. The 810 is Datsun, driven to deliver luxury for less.
Nobody demands more from a Datsun.
Now your Datsun dealer has the 810 you want. Sedan or wagon, automatic or 4-speed, and a wide variety of colors.
Are coming up now in the bottom of the 8th inning, first game of the doubleheader, and the Mets are leading 6-1. Coming in now for the play-by-play, here's Ralph Kiner.
All right, Lindsey Nelson, and the grand slam home run following Bruce Boisclair's 2-run home run by Steve Henderson, accounting for the 6 runs. Mets 6 runs on 6 hits. The Expos 1 run on 6. Leadoff batter in the 8th inning for the Mets will be Ken Henderson, who has walked, singled, and struck out. On the mound, Fred Holsworth. Make it Holsworth. 4th pitcher used by Dick Williams. And the first pitch to Ken Henderson is popped up high in the air on the shortstop side. Moving back into position to get under the ball, the shortstop, Chris Speier, and he makes the catch. That will bring up Lee Mazzilli. Lee has lined into a double play. He tried to bunt his way on and was out, and he also has walked. Mazzilli walked on a 3-2 pitch in the 6th inning to load up the bases. That's when Dick Williams took out Hal Dews and brought in Darrell Knowles. Ron Hodges was the scheduled batter, and Joe Torre went to Steve Henderson, who was not in the starting lineup. And Henderson hit a grand slammer off Darrell Knowles. Mazzilli batting left-handed against the right-hander, Holsworth, who came to Montreal from Baltimore last year. And the first pitch, a fastball outside the ball. Mazzilli batting .400 so far this year, and he takes ball 2. On deck batter, John Stearns, and John will be batting for the first time. And a fastball outside, ball 3. Pitch on the way. Mazzilli takes it low, ball 4. The ball down in the dirt, and Mazzilli walks for the second time. That puts a runner at first with 1 man out and brings up John Stearns. That is the 8th walk in this game by the Montreal pitchers. Wayne Twitchell worked 1 1/3 innings. He is the pitcher record on the losing side. Wayne walked 5 and hit 1 batter in 1 1/3 innings. Dews walked 1. And Holsworth now has walked 2. And the first pitch to Stearns, a ball. Stearns has 1 hit and 6 times up. Mazzilli with an average lead. The pitch back is fouled out of play. 1 ball, 1 strike. Ron Hodges, the starting catcher for the Mets, was 0 for 2. The right-hander goes to the set position, checks the runner at first base, and Stearns hits a foul ball. Ball over down the left field line, and was it caught? It was by Del Unser in foul territory. He went out of sight from this broadcasting position. Must have reached over the wooden barrier there and caught the ball in a spectacular fashion. Moving back to first base after the catch, Lee Mazzilli. And that brings up Doug Flynn. Flynn has a base hit and 3 times up. Mets leading 6-1. And Holsworth with a fastball that swung on and fouled back into the stand. In the top of the 9th inning, Montreal will have Gary Carter, Tony Perez, and Del Unser as their first 3 batters against Skip Lockwood. Mazzilli, a little bit bigger lead at first base. 2 men away. And now the pitch, and it's popped out into shallow right field, a base hit. Mazzilli goes to second base and stays right there. So Flynn has his second hit. And that will bring up Skip Lockwood. We'll pause for station identification. This is the New York Mets Baseball Network.
I know you want to treat the beer drinkers you know to the very best, so the next time you have guests, make sure they have plenty of cold Budweiser on hand. WMCA, New York.
Ralph Kiner along with Lindsey Nelson and Bob Murphy from Shea Stadium. Mets leading 6-1. 2 men away. We're in the bottom half of the 8th inning. And the first pitch to Lockwood, swung on and missed, strike 1. Lockwood is not too bad as a pitcher at the plate. He started out his major league career as an infielder. 1 strike pitch. Long foul ball, way out of play, but hit a long way. So Lockwood with a long strike, and the count now at strike 2. Fred Holsworth pitching for Montreal. Takes a long reading of the signs from his catcher, Gary Carter. Now goes to the set position. And the 2-strike pitch, low and outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. In the second game, it'll be Mike Brewer making his major league debut for the New York Mets against Ross Grimsley, a left-hander acquired by the Montreal Expos. 1-2 pitch, just low again. And the count 2 balls and 2 strikes. Two balls, 2 strikes. Mazzilli at second base. Flynn at first. And the next pitch is hit on the ground to the shortstop, Speier, who handles it. Makes the play on one knee. Throws to Cash covering at second base for the force play. That retires the side. In the inning, no runs, 1 hit, a walk, and 2 men left on base. And the score at the end of 8. It's the Mets 6. Montreal 1. Say, how would you like to be the guest of Derry Lee and see the New York Mets in action right here at Shea Stadium? Sure you would, and it's easy. Just save the coupons printed on Derry Lee or Derry Lean milk containers. The average family could save enough coupons in 1 week to get 1 free ticket. You have your choice of 20 games during the season, 1 on every day of the week, day or night. Regardless of the hours you work, you can come see the Mets free on Derry Lee. All the exciting details are printed on the side panel of the milk containers on sale in the dairy case of your favorite food store. So start drinking Derry Lee or Derry Lean milk today. Save those coupons and come out to see a Mets game free. we'll be glad to see you. We're going now to the top of the ninth. The Mets are leading by a score of 6-1. Mets runs coming on a 2-run home run by Bruce Boisclair and a grand slam pinch hit home run by Steve Henderson. The first pinch hit home run with the bases loaded since 1966 by a Met player. And for Skip Lockwood, his first batter will be Gary Carter. If the Mets win this ball game in this inning, Lockwood will not get a save, as he has not worked long enough, and as the Mets have a 5-run lead, and had that lead when Lockwood came into the game. Gary Carter is 0 for 3 in the game. Has struck out, flied out to center field, and flied out to left. Carter batting .273 so far this year. He's had 1 home run. Last year he had 31. And Lockwood's first pitch is swung on and missed. Lockwood came in the game in the 8th inning, retired his first 3 batters, Ellis Valentine, Dave Cash, and Andre Dawson. 1 strike pitch, breaking ball, but too low. And they count 1 ball and 1 strike. Philadelphia leading St. Louis 11-3 after 7. Pittsburgh and the Cubs tied up 3-3 after 5. Next pitch, a fastball right on through, a called strike. The end of 3.5, Houston 3, Cincinnati 3. And now Cincinnati in the bottom of the 4th, scoring 3 runs. And they lead Houston 6-3 after 4. Cincinnati trying to sweep the 4-game series. Next pitch is just outside, 2-2. At the end of 3, Atlanta 4, the Dodgers 2. And Lockwood's 2-2 pitch on the way. It's fouled off. Yankees in Texas are being held up because of rain in Texas. Oakland scheduled against California. At the end of 3, Boston 2, the White Sox nothing. At the end of 2, Kansas City 1, Cleveland nothing. At the end of 1, Baltimore 1, Milwaukee nothing. And at the end of 6, Detroit 7, Toronto 4. Again, the 2-2 pitch. And it's high and inside, ball 3. Full count for Gary Carter. The on-deck batter is Tony Perez. And the 3-2 pitch. High and inside, ball 4, and Carter walks. So a runner on with no one out in the top of the 9th, and the batter will be Tony Perez. Perez is 1 for 3. Perez single to left field in the 4th inning for his base hit. Tony batting .273. Montanez, the first baseman, playing off the bag at first. And the first pitch, a fastball, fouled. Back up into the stands, and it's strike 1. The ball was fouled at one of the greatest center fielders in New York history. Duke Snyder, who now broadcasts the Montreal Expos game. Next pitch is swung on and foul tipped, and the ball hitting home plate umpire John McSherry. And he now walks around trying to shake off the pain. McSherry is a big target. Skip Lockwood making his first appearance this year. Last year he'd appeared in 63 games. Look out. High inside fastball, and the count 1-2. Skip had a record of 4-8 last year with a 3.38 ERA. And the next pitch is popped up. Ball out in front of home plate. Coming up is Lenny Randle to make the call, and he makes the catch. And Tony Perez is out. One away in the top of the ninth. The Mets leading 6-1. The batter coming up is Del Unser. Lockwood last year set an all-time club season record for games pitched with his 63. Previous mark was 62, set by Bill Wakefield back in 1964. He led the club in saves with 20 for a career high. It had 19 in 1976. And the first pitch to Unser, called strike. Dell has had 2 hits and 2 official times up. He also has walked. And the next pitch is low and outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Gary Carter, the runner at first base. And Lockwood's 1-1 pitch hit hard, a base hit into right field. Ball by Doug Flynn and Willie Montanez, and Unser 3 for 3 in the game. That puts runners at first and second with 1 man out and brings up Wayne Garrett. Garrett is 0 for 3. Left-hand batter, batting against Lockwood for the first time. That was the first hit given up by Lockwood since he came in the game in the 8th inning. And the first pitch to Garrett, a curveball. It's low for ball 1, and Stearns fooled by the pitch. He evidently had called for the fastball, or thought he had, and the curveball breaking down, and Stearns had to make a recovery to catch it. Now a time is called, and Joe Torre goes out to the mound. Action starting up in the Mets bullpen. Marty Cormejo, a right-hander who won yesterday's ball game after working 2 innings, and Bob Myrick, a left-hander. Mets leading by 5, but here in the 9th with 1 away, the Expos have runners at first and second base. So Torre back to the bench, and time is back in. 1 ball, no strikes. Lockwood to the set position, and the pitch to Garrett is called a strike. 1-1. And Skip Lockwood with his next delivery. And it's popped up down the left field side. A long run for Boisclair, but he gets to it. He crosses into foul territory and makes the catch, and the Expos are down to their last out. 2 men away, and the batter coming up is Chris Speier. Speier is 0 for 3 after getting 4 hits in yesterday's ball game. He was 4 for 5 yesterday. Speier, a right-hand batter. Mets leading 6-1, both sides with 7 base hits. And Lockwood working from the set position with his first pitch. He misses low for a ball. Larry Parrish has come out to the on-deck circle. The pitcher is due up next. That's if Chris Speier can keep Montreal's hopes alive. The next pitch, a fastball, a called strike. It's 1-1. Of the batter's box now gets back in. Lockwood waiting for the signs, and now he takes them and goes to the set position. 1-1 pitch hit hard to right field, a base hit. Carter goes to third base. He's being waved in. The throw by Henderson is not in time, and a run is in. Speier with a run batted in. It's now a 6-2 ball game. On the play, Unser went down to second base and held there. Ken Henderson's throw from right field was a little bit up the line. If it had been right on the plate, Carter might have been out. Unusual to see a third base coach gamble in a situation where they need so many runs to tie. But the gamble worked. Norm Sherry, the third base coach, and now runners at first and second. And the batter coming up is Larry Parrish. Mets lead by 4 runs, so Parrish does not represent the tying run. First run for Montreal coming on a home run back in the 5th inning by Ellis Valentine. First pitch to Parrish is low. It's ball 1. Parrish has had 1 hit and 4 times up so far this year. Tall right-hand batter. Lockwood to the set position. And the pitch at the knees, a called strike. Parrish batted .246 last year with 11 home runs. And the next pitch is fouled down the right field side. It's out of play. At one point last year, Parrish had 3 consecutive home runs against the St. Louis Cardinals. They came in his last 3 at-bats, and then Montreal came to Shea Stadium, and Parrish had a chance to hit 4 in a row, which would have tied an all-time record. But he didn't do it against the Mets. He did single his first 2 times up, and he had 7 consecutive base hits. Next pitch by Lockwood, low and outside. Tried a breaking ball. And the count 2 balls and 2 strikes. Signs are out. Lockwood to the set position, and the 2-2 pitch. It is just outside. So the count goes to 3-2, and if Parrish gets on, that would put the potential time run at the plate. 2 men out. We're in the top of the 9th inning. The Mets leading by 4. They're leading by a score of 6-2. So the runners will be moving with the pitch as Lockwood gets set for the 3-2 pitch. Here it comes, and it's hit out to right field. Going after it is Henderson. He can't get to it. It's 1 hop off the wall. Coming in to score from second is Del Unser. Coming in from first base is Chris Speier. And Parrish, who represents the tying, and Valentine, who represents the tying run, comes to the plate. Parrish with a 2-run double, and it's now a 6-4 ball game. And here comes Joe Torre, and that is all for Skip Lockwood. Joe Torre has a right-hander, Marty Cormeo, in the bullpen. Cormeo, the winning pitcher in yesterday's ball game. And Lockwood goes out of the game. So Lockwood works 1 2/3 innings. So far charged with 3 runs on 3 hits. He struck out none and walked 1. And Joe Torre now going to the bullpen. And he'll be going to the right-hander, Marty Cormeo. Ball was a line shot to right center field. Henderson couldn't get close to it, and it took 1 hop up against the wall. So Parrish picks up 2 RBIs, his first 2 of the year. And we have a pitching change. So with 2 men out in the top of the 9th, the Mets leading 6-4. Montreal with a runner at second base. Marty Cornejo comes in the ballgame. He worked 2 innings yesterday, gave up no runs on 2 hits. He struck out 3. And in yesterday's ballgame, Cornejo did not pitch to Ellis Valentine. So while he comes in for his second Major League appearance, we'll check out the scoreboard. At the end of 6.5 innings, Pittsburgh 3, the Cubs 3. Donnie Moore now pitching for the Cubs in place of Woody Fryman. He came in the ballgame in the 7th inning. Jerry Royce, the starter for Pittsburgh, still in the game. At the end of 7, it's Philadelphia 11, St. Louis 3. John Urea knocked out of the box. The starting pitcher for the Cardinals. Schultz is now pitching. Flirt started for Philadelphia. He's still in. Home runs by Boone, his first of the year in the first with 2 men on. Hernandez, his first of the year. And his home run came in the 4th with 1 on. And Schmidt got a home run in the 4th with 2 men on, his first of the year. San Diego scheduled against San Francisco later. At the end of 4.5 innings, Cincinnati 6, Houston 3. Mark Lemongello pitching for Houston. Tom Hume going for Cincinnati. Teresa no home run in the first with 2 on for 3 runs, his first of the year. Geronimo home run, his first in the fourth with 1 on. At the end of 3, it's Atlanta 4, the Dodgers 2. Roden started for the Dodgers, still in. Tom Boggs going for Atlanta. At the end of 1.5, it's Texas 1, the Yankees nothing. Figueroa going for the Yankees against Alexander. At the end of 6, it's Detroit 7, Toronto 4. Murphy now pitching for Toronto. Bellingham the starter and still in for Detroit. At the end of 3, Boston 2, Chicago nothing. Bill Lee against Wilbur Wood. At the end of 3, Kansas City 1, Cleveland nothing. Busby against Wise. At the end of 3, Milwaukee 4, Baltimore 1. Scott McGregor against Larry Sorensen. Also on the schedule, Minnesota against Seattle. Oakland against California. And right here, it's the Mets 6 and the Montreal Expos 4. The Mets scoring 2 runs in the first inning on a 2-run home run by Bruce Boisclair, and 4 more in the 6th on a pinch hit grand slam home run by Steve Henderson. Montreal got a run in the 5th on a home run by Ellis Valentine off of starting pitcher Pat Zachry. And now here in the 9th inning, they have scored 3 times, and they have the potential tying run at the plate as the batter Ellis Valentine steps in. His home run was his first, and it came in the 5th inning. He's had 2 hits and 4 times up. Cornejo throws the forkball. It's his bread and butter pitch, and the first pitch is low, ball 1. One ball, no strikes. And the next pitch is swung on and missed. Valentine with a big swing at the forkball and missing. 1 ball and 1 strike. Larry Parrish, the runner at second base. Cornejo checks him. Here's his next pitch, and the forkball looped out over the head of the shortstop, a base hit. Valentine goes to first base and holds there as Parrish comes in to score. And now it's a 6-5 ball game, and the time run is at first with 2 men out, and the batter coming up is Dave Cash. Montreal with a rally of 4 runs here in the 9th inning. All the runs coming with 2 men out here in the 9th, and Dave Cash steps up. Cash is 0 for 4. That run goes against the record of Skip Lockwood. Cash, a right-hand batter. Cornejo with the pitch, and a fastball misses just outside. Cash had 4 hits in yesterday's ball game, and he grounds the next delivery down the left field side foul. 1 ball and 1 strike. One and 1 the count. Mets trying to hold on, leading by 1. Cornejo to the set position. Valentine, the runner at first base. Here's the pitch. And it's low and outside. 2 balls and 1 strike. Two balls, 1 strike. Cornejo under the gun. Out of the set position. He checks the runner at first base. Here's the pitch. And it's popped up to center field. That should be the ball game. Mazzilli going back. He's under it. And he makes the catch, and the Mets hold on to win it by a score of 6-5. In the 9th inning, Montreal rallied for 4 runs on 4 hits. There were no errors, and the tying run was left at first base. And the final score of the ball game, it's the Mets 6 and the Montreal Expos 5.
What's the big idea? The big idea is the Astoria idea. An idea designed to come through with many happy returns for you.
Astoria Federal has some big ideas for you, like 6-year savings certificates with an effective annual yield of 8.17%, the most the law allows. 4-year certificates yield 7.9%, 2.5 years 7.08%, and there are big ideas in 90-day and 1-year accounts. The law on time deposits requires a penalty on withdrawal before maturity, so Astoria has another big idea. Ready cash savings for your everyday needs. Big ideas, that's Astoria Federal.
An idea designed to come through with many happy returns for you. The Astoria idea.
Well, the New York Mets on home runs by Bruce Boisclair and pinch hitter Steve Henderson held on to win by a score of 6-5 in the third game of the season. They now have won all 3. Mets got 2 runs in the second inning. Make that in the first inning when Boisclair had a 2-run home run, a long drive to right field over the 428 mark. Boisclair coming up with his first home run of the year, and then with the Mets leading by a score of 2-0, in the sixth inning, Boisclair singled to right field. Willie Montanez singled to right to put runners at first and second. Ken Henderson was struck out, but Lee Mazzilli on the 3-2 pitch walked, and the bases were loaded. That's when Dick Williams went from Hal Dews, who was in the ballgame in relief for Wayne Twitchell, and brought in left-hander Darrell Knowles. The scheduled batter was a left-hand batter, Ron Hodges. He was taken out of the ballgame by Joe Torre. And Steve Henderson, who did not start the ballgame because of a heavy cold, was put in as a pinch hitter. Henderson hit a grand slam home run, the first for a Met as a pinch hitter since 1966, and the Mets were leading by a score of 6-1. 1 run for Montreal coming on a home run by Ellis Valentine in the 5th inning off Pat Zachry. So Zachry was the winning pitcher in the ballgame, working 7 innings. He gave up 1 run on 6 hits, struck out 6 batters, and walked 1. Cornejo finally came in the ballgame to save it. Cornejo getting his first save. He had picked up his first win in his first appearance yesterday. The losing pitcher was Wayne Twitchell. Twitchell worked 1 1/3 innings, gave up 2 runs on 2 hits. He walked 5 and hit 1 batter. The line score of the first game, the New York Mets 6 runs, 7 hits, 1 error, and 6 men left on. The Expos 5 runs, 10 hits, no errors, and 6 men left on base. In the second game today, it's going to be Mike Brewer pitching for the New York Mets. It'll be his Major League debut. And Ross Grimsley will be going for the Montreal Expos. We'll be back at 4:20 when the Mets and the Montreal Expos go at it again in the second game of this doubleheader. Once again, the final score, it's the Mets 6 and the Expos 5. Mets baseball has been brought to you by Anheuser-Busch, Brewers of Budweiser, the king of beers. There's no better way to relax than with the easy taste of Budweiser. Getty Premium and Getty Unleaded Regular, the higher octane gasoline with the lower price. And by Datsun. Nobody demands more from a Datsun than Datsun. We are driven. And by Dairy Lee. Brought to you by the good folks of Dairy Lee, famous for over 50 years for fresh dairy products. Now until the start of the second game, this is Ralph Geiner along with Lindsey Nelson and Bob Murphy. And let's go back to the studios of WMCA.